Chapter 389. Only to see. Tian Mei walked in from outside the hall. It seemed that she had temporarily handed over the task of handling the battle to the members of the charming Sky Fox clan. Ancestral Master, can you tell me what is going on now? Tian Mei walked over and sat down beside them. Her beautiful eyes scanned them from head to toe. She was really confused. How did Tian Xiang know Ning Tian? Why was Ning Tian here? Tian Xiang, why don't you talk to the Heavenly Charms Pavilion Lord? Ning Tian said to Tian Xiang, then calmly drank his tea. Although he already knew that Tian Mei was the clan leader of the charming Sky Fox clan, he was still used to calling her Pavilion Master. Yes, Ancestral Master. Tian Xiang nodded slightly and looked at Tian Mei. Clan leader, it's like this. A few minutes later, after Tian Xiang explained everything, Tian Mei finally understood everything. The corners of her mouth lifted slightly, and she couldn't help but shake her head. I see. Thank you, Ancestral Master. You don't have to thank me. Ning Tian waved his hand and said indifferently, I'm just returning the favor. If it weren't for the news you sent, perhaps the Tianma cult would have suffered more losses. Tian Mei was silent. At first, she admired Ning Tian and couldn't bear to see the Tianma cult destroyed, so she kindly reminded him. But she didn't expect that this kindness would save the entire charming Sky Fox clan. Heavenly Charms Pavilion Master, I am very curious. As the leader of the demonic Fox Demon clan, why have you appeared in the Sky Spirit region? Ning Tian's puzzled gaze landed on Heavenly Charms. Tian Mei hesitated for a moment, then her beautiful eyes flashed. She said softly, forget it. Ancestral Master, you saved my clan. I shouldn't hide it from you. I'm in the Tianling domain because I'm looking for the Heavenly Punishment Path. Heavenly Punishment Path? Hearing this, Sui Weiyao frowned and looked at Tian Mei. Among the 3,000 great Daos, the Heavenly Punishment Dao is one of the hardest Daos to obtain. It is said that the Heavenly Punishment Dao will only appear when the ancient road to godhood is near. Could it be? Speaking of which, Sui Weiyao's expression changed slightly, her willowy eyebrows furrowed. She seemed to have thought of something. Could it be that the opening of the ancient road to godhood is in the celestial spirit realm? Perhaps. Tian Mei was not sure either. She said softly, Pavilion Leader Chun told me all of this. However, I have waited for a few years and still have not found it. Perhaps it is not the right time to go on the ancient road to godhood. Her tone was somewhat helpless. It was rumored that if one obtained the path of heavenly punishment, they would be able to summon heavenly punishment and become powerful. If she could obtain it, perhaps she wouldn't need to fear the Killer Fox clan. Did that damn fortune teller say it again? Ning Tian frowned, then looked at Sui Weiyao and asked, Weiyao, could it be that there is no fixed location when the ancient road to godhood opens? Yes, hubby. Sui Weiyao nodded and whispered to Ning Tian. Every time the ancient road to godhood opens, the location is different. Every spirit realm could be the location, but I didn't expect it to be in the celestial spirit realm this time. After all, although the celestial spirit realm is one of the 9 realms, it is too small. However, if it really opens in the celestial spirit realm, maybe you can try the path of heavenly punishment. If you can master the path of heavenly punishment, it is said that the ancient road to godhood will be much smoother. Hearing this, Ning Tian nodded slightly. Since it is in the celestial spirit realm, it is destined to be with me. However, looking at it now, there is no movement. Let's talk about it when there is movement. After speaking, Ning Tian looked at Tian Mei. Pavilion Leader Tian Mei, I have a business deal. I wonder if you are willing to do it? Business? Tian Mei squinted her beautiful eyes and looked at Ning Tian in confusion. Ancestral Master, why don't you tell me? Ning Tian did not waste any time. He looked at her and said, I need the bloodline of the 9-tailed celestial fox left by your celestial fox clan. The bloodline of the 9-tailed celestial fox? Tian Mei was stunned. She frowned slightly. Ancestral Master, why do you want the bloodline of the 9-tailed celestial fox? You don't have to ask. Anyway, the bloodline of the 9-tailed celestial fox is useless to your celestial fox clan. Ning Tian did not explain further. He squinted his eyes. As for the reward, I can help you deal with the Killer Fox clan. This, Tian Mei hesitated. She did not know what to say. What is it? Pavilion leader Tian Mei, are you not satisfied with the business deal? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly. It is not that I am not satisfied, but Tian Mei smiled bitterly. Ancestral Master, you have to understand that the 100 Demon Valley is not our clan's land. Our clan's land has been occupied by the Killer Fox clan. As for the bloodline of the nine-tailed celestial fox, it is in our clan's land. At this point, Heavenly Charms sighed. It was not that she was unwilling to do this business, but she did not even have the chips to do it. Oh, is that so? Ning Tian's expression did not change. He picked up the teacup and drank the tea in one gulp. Then the business deal is off. Okay, then we will change it to a delivery service. Let's go to the clan's house to pick it up. Go pick it up? Huh? What do you mean? Tian Mei was stunned when she heard Ning Tian's words. She did not understand what her ancestral master meant. But when the time comes, I'll have to ask the Heavenly Charms Pavilion Master to lead the way. Ning Tian didn't explain. The corners of her mouth lifted slightly, revealing a kind smile. Okay. Although Tian Mei did not understand, she vaguely thought of something. She nodded. Are we leaving now? No. Ning Tian shook his head. I have something to do now. By the way, please arrange a secret room for me. A secret room? Okay. Tian Mei was stunned. Then she stood up. Ancestral Master, please follow me. The few of them followed. Before going to the Killer Fox clan to pick up the item, Ning Tian had one more thing to do. The few of them stopped in front of the secret room. Ancestral Master, this is the place. It will be fine for cultivation. Tian Mei pointed at the secret room in front of her. Okay. Ning Tian nodded and stepped into the room. Although she did not know what Ning Tian wanted to do, Sui Weiyao said obediently, Husband, we will wait for you outside. No, you don't have to wait outside. However, Ning Tian shook her head slightly. She pulled Yu Yao into the room as Yu Yao cried out in surprise. Then, under the confused gazes of Tian Xiang and Tian Mei, Ning Tian shut the door to the secret room. When they saw this, Tian Mei and Tian Xiang looked at each other. They could not help but think of something. Their pretty faces flushed. Could it be their ancestral master was still in the mood? The two of them were speechless. Tian Mei looked at Tian Xiang and spoke first. Let's catch up while the ancestral master and Queen Mother of the West are busy. We haven't seen each other in a long time, right? Little sister. Tian Xiang was stunned. After a long time, she nodded. Author's words. There is one more chapter. Don't ask why it took so long. If you do, it will be empty. Chapter 390. Inside the Secret Chamber. The secret chamber arranged by Heavenly Charms was very small, and the air was not circulating. Su Yueyao's natural fragrance immediately filled the entire chamber. Hubby, what are you doing? Su Yueyao rolled her eyes at Ning Tian. This insatiable wolf, he's not thinking about doing that again, is he? Haha, what do you think? Ning Tian smiled teasingly and raised her chin. Cut it out. I can't beat you now. Su Yueyao rolled her eyes at Ning Tian and drew circles on his chest with her lily-white hand. But when Wu Qing comes, I'll teach you a lesson. As for now, tell me, what do you want me to do? Of course it's... Ning Tian smiled mysteriously. Then, with a very fast speed, she stripped herself naked. What are you doing? Su Yueyao blushed. She looked at Ning Tian's 8-pack abs and swallowed her saliva. Hee. As expected of her husband. 8-pack abs. I love. However, Ning Tian did not do anything else. He took out a small jade bottle containing blood essence from his storage ring and placed it in Su Yueyao's hand. Then, he sat down cross-legged. Hubby, this is? Su Yueyao looked at the small jade bottle in her hand and was confused. Inside the jade bottle, there were some small bubbles. This is the blood essence of 100 monsters. It's used to strengthen one's body. Ning Tian did not hide much from his wife. He chuckled and explained, Yueyao, I need you to smear this blood all over my body. Smear it all over your body? Su Yueyao was stunned and frowned slightly. Won't there be any consequences if I use the blood of 100 monsters? Her voice was a little worried. She was naturally happy that Ning Tian could become stronger. However, if it was harmful to Ning Tian, she did not want to see it happen. Don't worry, it won't. Ning Tian smiled and shook his head. If the system dared to cheat her, the Empress's wife might just dig the system out from her brain. System. Trembling. Come on, Yue Yao. Let's begin. Ning Tian sat cross-legged, indicating that he was ready to lie down and ready. Yes. Su Yueyao nodded. But then she thought for a moment and realized something wasn't right. She frowned and said, "Aren't you capable of covering yourself with something like that?" "Yes. I can do it," Ning Tian replied without hesitation. "But isn't it better to let your wife apply it with her small hands?" "In your dreams." Su Yueyao coquettishly rolled her eyes at Ning Tian, but she didn't refuse. She gently opened the lid of the small jade bottle and poured a trace of blood essence onto her hand. She then covered it with spirit qi. Then, she stretched out her little hand. He spread it evenly on a certain guy's body. "Hiss, Yueyao, be gentle." Right. It's right there." Su Yueyao's pretty face blushed, and 3 colored question marks appeared above her head. "This guy, what nonsense are you spouting?" After a while, under Ning Tian's howling, Su Yueyao blushed and finally finished applying all the blood essence in the jade bottle. Hee, Yueyao, it's been hard on you." Ning Tian chuckled with a satisfied look. "Humph." Su Yueyao snorted, then took out a handkerchief and gently wiped the remaining blood essence on her hand. "What about now? What else do you need me to do?" She looked at Ning Tian. "No need." Ning Tian shook his head slightly, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Next, you just need to sit tight and watch your husband become stronger." As soon as his voice faded, Ning Tian said in his heart, "System, use the 100 Beasts Blood Refinement skill card." Using the 100 Beasts Blood Refinement skill card. Use successful. As the system's voice faded, the blood essence on Ning Tian's body began to emit a huge amount of energy, and a layer of hazy blood mist gently shrouded his body. At the same time, the room was filled with a strong smell of blood. "This is?" Su Yueyao frowned slightly, but she didn't care about the smell of blood. Her beautiful eyes fell on Ning Tian, and there was some worry in her eyes. Time passed by little. A few hours later, the 100 Beasts Blood Refinement skill card has been successfully melted. The host has mastered the bloodline. Currently, the host has gradually mastered the bloodline of the 100 Beasts. The host has obtained the bloodline supernatural power and can choose the strength of the horse bear, etc. The system's notification kept ringing in his mind. The current Ning Tian, through the bloodline supernatural power, can exert bloodline pressure on the 100 beasts that absorbed the blood essence. Moreover, he can choose his supernatural power. The strength of the bear. The corner of Ning Tian's mouth twitched, and he took a look at it in his consciousness. The bloodline supernatural power of the 100 beasts could be summed up in 2 words. That is, trash. It's just to increase some physical strength. However, does Ning Tian need these bloodline supernatural powers to enhance his physical strength? It seems, if I want more powerful bloodline supernatural powers, I need more powerful blood essence. I heard that there are 4 major clans of the demon race. Maybe I can give it a try if I have the chance, Ning Tian murmured. The 4 major clans of the demon race. Danger. Congratulations to the host for breaking through. Currently, 4 stars of the Divine Emperor realm. The system's voice sounded again and slowly fell. Ning Tian's aura was like a hot knife through butter. Phew. The feeling of breaking through is so good. I feel like I have endless energy now. Ning Tian opened his eyes and stretched. I can see that. At the side, Su Yueyao snorted and inadvertently glanced at a certain guy. At a glance, she could see that he was valiant and full of energy. Ning Tian smiled maliciously. Yueyao, let me ask you a question. Tell me, which one do you think will tire the cow to death first, or the field to rot first? Su Yueyao was stunned for a moment. She coquettishly rolled her eyes at Ning Tian. I don't know. I refuse to answer. Is that so? Ning Tian leaned over and wrapped his arms around her slender waist. The corner of his mouth raised into an evil smile. Since you don't know, Yueyao, your husband will reluctantly tell you a truth. Su Yueyao's pretty face was pressed against his chest. She slightly raised her head, revealing a puzzled expression. There is a saying called, true knowledge comes from practice. Another few hours later, in the main hall of the charming Fox clan, Tian Mei and Tian Xiang were sitting in the main hall. As for the ceiling flame Lion King, ever since this guy turned into a small one, it was immersed in a sea of excitement. After all, these female fox demons loved furry creatures. Sister, if back then, Tian Xiang held the tea and opened her red lips. Before she could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Tian Mei. There's no need to say anymore. I chose it back then, so I don't regret it. Even if it's a heavy burden, it doesn't matter. Tian Mei shook her head slightly, her eyes calm. Tian Xiang was silent. At this moment, there was a sound of footsteps. The two of them looked over at the same time. They saw Ning Tian and Su Yueyao walking over from the side. Ancestral Master, the Queen Mother of the West. What happened to the Queen Mother of the West? Is her leg injured? Seeing Su Yueyao's strange walking posture, Tian Mei frowned slightly, a trace of doubt flashing in her eyes. Author's words, the story of the two sisters. I won't write it in detail. If anyone wants to read it, I can write an extra chapter or something after it's over. I won't waste the word count here. Chapter 391. Tian Xiang also looked over and frowned. If the Holy Lord is injured, I remember that there are elixirs in the clan that can help you recover quickly. I will go and get some for you. No need. Su Yueyao quickly shook her head when she saw the worried look on the two girls' faces. Then, she glared at Ning Tian with a slightly red face. It's okay. It's just this guy's fault. Ancestral Master? Tian Mei and Tian Xiang were stunned when they heard this. In an instant, the two girls seemed to have thought of something. Their faces turned red and they could not help but sigh in their hearts. As expected of the Ancestral Master, even a Nine Tribulations great emperor was no match for him. Cough. Being stared at by the girls, Ning Tian could not help but cough and quickly change the topic. Since the preparations are almost done, Pavilion Master Tian Mei, you can lead the way. The blush on Tian Mei's face faded a little when they talked about business. She slowly got up. Then, Ancestral Master, please follow me. After that, she walked out of the hall. Ning Tian and the others followed. By the way, why don't I see Sha Tian? Ning Tian looked around and did not see the figure of the ceiling flame Lion King. Did that Sha Tian secretly practice the word disassembly technique? Where's that cute little lion? Tian Mei raised her eyebrows and asked casually, if it is, Ancestral Master, you should be able to see it when we leave the hall. Outside the hall, Ning Tian finally saw the ceiling flame Lion King. It was not practicing the word disassembly technique. Instead, it was being ravaged by the ladies of the charming Fox clan, enjoying the soft embrace. This guy, looking at the ceiling flame Lion King's face, Ning Tian's face darkened. Didn't this guy say that he only liked lionesses? He walked over. However, the ceiling flame Lion King did not realize the seriousness of the matter. At this moment, it was lying in the arms of a very well-endowed charming Fox clan member. Its eyes were closed and it was enjoying itself. It did not notice that danger was quietly approaching. Roar, roar, roar. It roared excitedly. Aya. Master Lion finally understood the joy of the patriarch's old pervert. Hee. Oh, my happiness? At this moment, that cold voice sounded as if it was right next to his ear. Roar. The Lion King's eyes widened as it saw the cold-faced Ning Tian standing in front of it. Roar, roar. It instantly bristled and panicked. It hurriedly growled a few times. Lion language. Ahaha, my handsome ancestor. Listen to me, Master Lion, quibble. Oh no, listen to me, Master Lion, explain. Believe me, I will never think that you are an old pervert. You are definitely, roar, roar. The pitiful ceiling flame Lion King had not finished speaking. Ning Tian grabbed her from the fox demon's hands and kicked her to the void ship parked not far away. A perfect parabola, a perfect landing. He probably wouldn't die. However, whether or not the chrysanthemum would crack would depend on how hard it was. Let's go. Ning Tian turned to Sui Weiyao and the others and said lightly. Okay. Sui Weiyao nodded slightly. Tian Mei looked at Tian Xiang and said, Tian Xiang, Old Two and I will follow the patriarch. I will leave some things in the charming Fox clan to you. There should be 100 demons left in the 100-demon valley. But they are not strong. I believe you can handle it. Okay, don't worry. Tian Xiang nodded as a murderous look flashed in her eyes. She was the Misty sect's eldest senior sister after all. Okay, patriarch, let's go. After arranging everything, Tian Mei turned to Ning Tian and said softly, Okay, let's go. Ning Tian nodded slightly and then stepped into the void. In the blink of an eye, he appeared on the huge void ship. Sui Weiyao, Tian Mei, and Old Two all followed. On the void ship, the ceiling flame Lion King was touching his butt in a strange posture. He curled up in a small corner and heaved a sigh of relief. Although Master Lion's butt hurt, at least it was not crippled. Pavilion Master Tian Mei, you can lead the way. Okay. Tian Mei nodded slightly and said, Patriarch, the Killing Fox clan is currently in the Charming Fox clan's territory, which is the Celestial Fox Valley. It's quite a distance from here. Perhaps it will take a few days. Celestial Fox Valley? Okay, got it. Ning Tian nodded slightly as a smile tugged at the corners of her lips. However, we have the void ship and Yu Yao. We won't need to travel for a few days. He looked at Sui Weiyao. He said softly, Yu Weiyao, sorry to trouble you. Okay. Sui Weiyao nodded and then walked silently to the deck. She placed her hand on the spiritual energy supply device. Instantly, the aura of a Nine Tribulations great emperor erupted and the entire void ship disappeared in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, the group of enchanting Fox clan members below were stunned. Where did that huge void ship go? On the void ship, you can explode with such speed. Tian Mei's beautiful eyes widened as shock flashed across her eyes. It's so fast. I've never seen such a fast weapon. Is it a spatial fairy weapon? Beside her, Elder Two stroked his beard and sighed. Haha, it is indeed a spatial fairy weapon. Elder Two, you have a good eye. Ning Tian smiled and said, but it should be a spatial fairy weapon close to a semi-divine weapon. A spatial fairy weapon close to a semi-divine weapon? Tian Mei and Elder Two were shocked again. Above fairy weapons were semi-divine weapons and divine weapons. The fact that it was related to divine weapons was enough to prove that it was valuable. After all, divine weapons did not exist in the current 9 territories, but it was not to say that they did not exist. It was just that they were in the hands of some ancient forces, but they would not use them easily. After all, one should not show off one's wealth. Powerful things like divine artifacts were enough to make many powerhouses covet them. Therefore, even a death bell unearthed in a life-forbidden zone like the Black Death Mountain was enough to attract many top forces in the firmament territory, except for the law of death on the death bell. More importantly, it was because the death bell was a quasi-artifact. Hiss! Tian Mei and Elder Two were shocked and looked at Ning Tian. The more they looked at their ancestral master, the more they looked at him, the more mysterious he was. However, what the two of them didn't know was that Ning Tian had left something unsaid. That was, if he had enough forging materials, with his supernatural workmanship talent, he could turn the void ship, which was close to a semi-divine weapon, into a real semi-divine weapon. Even if his strength increased and the materials were top-notch, it might work even if it was a divine weapon. You have shocked Tian Mei. You have shocked Elder Two. Reward, the void ship's kinetic energy is increased and its speed is doubled. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in his mind. Chapter 392. Your Lives. After Ning Tian finished speaking, his voice was extremely cold. However, he still had a kind smile on his face as he looked indifferently at the group of Demon Fox clan cultivators in the hall. Our lives? Hearing this, the The group of Demon Fox Clan experts' expressions changed instantly. The extremely cold words and the smile on the young man's face seemed to be incompatible, which made the atmosphere even more strange. This guy, what is he talking about? Could it be that he's smiling while killing people? What a joke. Husha sneered and looked at Ning Tian. Fellow Taoist, do you think that you can destroy the entire Demon Fox Clan with just the few of you? Or do you not take the Demon Fox Clan seriously at all? Oh, I didn't expect you to know your own limits. Ning Tian smiled mockingly. You! Husha gritted his teeth and was a little angry. He glared at Ning Tian and sneered. Fellow Taoist, you said that you won't kill people. Are you going against your Tao heart? Hee, be careful not to go berserk and mess up your Tao heart. I won't kill people. Ning Tian replied indifferently as he pulled out an apple from his storage ring and took a bite out of it in front of Husha. Then, he grinned and said, but I'm killing demons, and I'm going to suffer chi deviation? I'm the demon sect's patriarch? I'm afraid of going berserk? You, F*CK, I'm talking to you. Can you not eat the apple? Husha was holding back his anger. Just as he was about to say something, the guy in front of him took a bite of the apple and smiled. He was not taking him seriously at all. Why do you have so many apples? Husha was extremely depraved. He glared at Ning Tian with bloodshot eyes. He gritted his teeth and roared, Brat, you. What about you? You're not human. However, before he could finish, he was interrupted by Ning Tian. What about me? You're not human. F***. Husha and the other powerful beings of the fox race felt a stifling sensation in their chests right now. They wanted to refute, but they could not find the words to do so. Thinking about it carefully, the words of this lad did make sense. They were indeed not humans. However, they felt that this kid was thinking of ways to scold them. This sentence sounded very obedient, and there was nothing wrong with admitting it. However, if he admitted it in this brat's despicable voice, wouldn't he be inhumane? Especially this kid in front of them. When they were silent, he kept muttering, You guys aren't human. This feeling. He was very angry. He knew that the other party was humiliating him, but he really couldn't say anything back. This was simply like having to suffer in silence. He could not voice out his bitterness. This was as uncomfortable as eating *T, F***CK. This brat is so despicable. Husha snorted coldly and narrowed his eyes at Ning Tian. What a joke. If we're not humans, are you? I'm really sorry. I'm really human. Ning Tian had an embarrassed look on her face as she said to Husha with a smile. The aura of a human was revealed. Husha held his breath and felt that he was about to explode. He took a deep breath and tried his best to calm himself down. He felt that he might die on the spot while he was arguing with this brat. This brat was really despicable. Although I'm not human, you're really a dog. Husha snorted coldly. Thank you for the compliment. F***CK. I'm not F***king complimenting you. Husha was stunned for a moment and flew into a rage out of humiliation. He, Husha, had lived for thousands of years and thought that the fox race was the most cunning and shameless creature. However, when he saw this human youth in front of him, he realized that he had lost. This was the first time he saw someone so shameless. However, Ning Tian was still smiling. As long as I'm not angry, you'll be the one angered to death. Husha took a deep breath and looked at Ning Tian viciously. Human brat, you killed third young Master Long. The dragon race will definitely not let you off. When the time comes, you'll be skinned and whipped. Before Husha could finish his words, an emperor's aura surged into the sky and a palm landed heavily on his body. Fresh blood gushed out. His body flew out. At the same time, an indifferent voice sounded. Who allowed you to talk about my husband? F***CK. Damn you for protecting your husband. Husha cursed and flew out heavily. The entire hall was shaken by the emperor's aura and was about to collapse. Boom, boom. Not good. The hall is about to collapse. Let's get out first. The group of fox race experts did not have the mood to care about Husha's life and death. When they saw that the hall was about to collapse, they quickly moved to hide. Boom! Outside the hall, countless members of the fox race looked in the direction of the hall. They wanted to see how the fox race leader would deal with the intruder. However, after waiting for a long time, they did not hear anything. However, at that moment, they seemed to hear a loud curse. Next, a big black rat was sent flying out of the main hall. Boom! It smashed heavily into a tall mountain. In an instant, the mountain collapsed. After a while, Husha's bloodied and battered figure crawled out from a pile of falling rocks. Countless members of the fox race narrowed their eyes when they saw this scene. The fox demon patriarch had been sent flying out of the main hall? That was a 7 tribulations great emperor. However, before they could recover from their shock, the fox race hall that had stood for thousands of years suddenly collapsed with a loud bang and turned into ruins. All the experts of the fox race crawled out of the ruins in a sorry state. What's going on? Countless members of the fox race were stunned on the spot. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. Didn't they hear it clearly just now? Didn't they say that they were here to retrieve the item? Was this not a visit to tear down their home? Damn it! That woman is a 9 tribulations great emperor. Husha's entire body was covered in blood. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, he looked at the ruins of the fox tribe's main hall and felt a little heartache in his heart. He then raised his head and stared intently at the sky. In the sky, a huge battleship that was hundreds of meters long appeared in the void. The human youth just now was sitting on the deck and eating an apple leisurely. F***CK. You're still eating? Eat until you die. Husha cursed secretly. Then, he looked at the countless members of the fox race around him and shouted, "Enemy attack! Everyone, get into formation. Heaven Fiend Fox Demon formation." Yes, clan leader. At that moment, all members of the fox race became alert and began to find their positions. They could vaguely see the traces of the formation moving on the ground of the Skyfox Valley. If all of them were lit up, the power would be terrifying. On the void ship, seeing the actions of countless members of the fox race below, Heavenly Charm's pretty face changed slightly. She was a little shocked. I didn't expect Husha to have mastered this formation. Chapter 393. Is this array very powerful? On the void ship, Ning Tian took a bite of the apple and casually threw an object high up in the air. She looked at Heavenly Charms and couldn't help but ask. Heavenly Charms was stunned. She looked at Ning Tian and then at Sui Weiyao, not knowing how to answer. After all, neither of them was easy to deal with. After a moment of silence, she said, "This baleful fox demon array is not very powerful for Patriarch and Queen Mother of the West. However, it is important for ordinary 9 tribulations great emperors." I see. Ning Tian looked down and smiled. If he wanted to stop the Fox Demon clan from forming the array, it would be very simple. Sui Weiyao only needed 1 palm. However, with 1 palm, the Fox Demon clan would definitely die. It was not that he did not want to kill them, nor was he a saint. Ning Tian had his own plans. Instead of killing them, why not make use of them? For example, the Void God Heavenly Palace was still useful. He looked at Heavenly Charms behind him and smiled. Perhaps it was time for him to build a few more forces under his control. The Fox clan was a very good banner. He only needed to kill some of the troublesome ones, and he would be able to make good use of them. Yueyao, you don't have to do it. Just as Sui Weiyao was about to destroy him with a single palm strike, Ning Tian chuckled. Okay. Sui Weiyao nodded and did not ask anything. Ning Tian had his reasons for not asking her to do it. As the saying goes, raise a lion for 1,000 days and use it for 1 day. Baleful Sky, it's your turn to perform. Ning Tian smiled and said slowly. He patted the flame-sealing Lion King lying on the side. Roar? The flame-sealing Lion King was stunned and confused. Master Lion King will do it? Meow, meow, meow? Could it be that you've even forgotten the word-splitting formula? Ning Tian had a smile on her face. You just need to use the dismantling technique without restraint and be a good tool lion. Roar! Hearing the words dismantling formula, the flame-sealing Lion King perked up. Master Lion King's dismantling formula. Was it finally going to come in handy? Roar. On the ground, Husha frowned and harumphed coldly as he looked at the huge void battleship in the sky and the adorable lion standing there with a mysterious look on its face. Stop pretending. Great formation. Form for me. A mere lion can destroy my array formation? Ridiculous. The members of the Fox clan began to take their positions. At the same time, on the void ship, the flaming Lion King stood on the deck with an aggressive look. Demonic chi began to flow in its body. As it moved, the sky began to change color. Dark clouds instantly covered the entire celestial Fox Valley. Rumble. Boom. In the sky, the lion-shaped character for demolish appeared once more. In an instant, a terrifying and invisible power filled the entire heavenly Fox Valley. Seeing the strange phenomenon in the sky, the eyes of all the members of the Fox clan revealed a trace of shock and confusion. What was that thing in the sky? He's just pretending to be mysterious. Don't bother about him. Let's form the formation to prevent any accidents. Husha frowned and looked at the lion-shaped character for demolish in the sky. He turned his head and shouted at the members of the Fox clan. Yes, yes, Patriarch. Everyone no longer hesitated. Roar. On the deck, looking at the lion-shaped character for demolish in the sky, the flaming Lion King roared excitedly. Its eyes were filled with fanaticism. Roar, 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 roar. Lion language. Art is to bring home demolishing to the extreme. Demolish word art. Heaven falls and earth rends. Roar. As the flaming Lion King waved its furry lion claws down, the character for demolish in the sky shone with a dazzling golden light. All the members of the Fox clan were attracted by this golden light. Their expressions changed drastically in shock. What is this? Before they could react, rumbling sounds continued. A strange force instantly rushed over. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. They wanted to defend, but that strange force had already covered all of their bodies and swept past them. In an instant, all the members of the Fox clan had a drastic change in expression. Their eyes were filled with despair. Could it be that it was over just like that? F***ck. My life is over. The experts began to despair, but after 3 seconds, nothing happened to them. Haha, I thought it was some powerful cultivation technique or martial art. So this is it. Husha laughed loudly and heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He almost King thought that the lion was also a peerless expert. But now, it seemed that it was useless. The special effects were awesome, but the actual damage was 0. Roar? Roar. The flaming Lion King smirked, and then its lion claws fell heavily. You dare to mock me? Your home is gone. As the lion claws fell, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked in an instant. Boom, boom. The ground of the entire Sky Fox Valley began to crack and shake. The formation that had just been formed was instantly shattered. All the members of the Fox clan could not stand steadily and fell to the ground one by one. This heavenly fiend fox demon formation broke by itself. This was not the end. Boom. With a series of explosions, all the buildings in the Sky Fox Valley collapsed. Roar. Seeing this scene, the flaming Lion King was extremely pleased. Humph. What a joke. Although your Master Lion King's destruction technique does 0 damage to the enemy, but it can cause real damage to any building. What? F***ck. I spent hundreds of billions of spirit coins to build the Fox Slaying Hall, and it's gone just like that? Seeing this scene, Husha was dumbfounded and his heart ached. How could a little lion do such a thing? Damn it. Heavenly Fox Elder, Demonic Fox Elder. It seems like the two of you are needed. Husha's eyes flashed with anger as he said in a deep voice. In the void, 2 deep voices sounded, and 2 figures appeared. That was the aura of a 9 Tribulations great emperor. In the sky, the Fox clan elders appeared. There were several god emperors and a few low-level great emperors. But the most troublesome ones were the 2 9 Tribulations great emperors. Heavenly Fox, Demonic Fox, I didn't expect the two of you to be in cahoots with Husha. On the void ship, Heavenly Charm's face darkened when she saw the two old men. She frowned. The two old men were the Fox Clan's guardian elders. They had been following the demonic Fox Clan, but in the end, they chose to follow the slaying Fox Clan. Oh, Heavenly Charms? Hearing this voice, the two Fox Clan guardian elders looked over and narrowed their eyes. The slaying Fox Clan is obviously stronger than the demonic Fox Clan, so I'm sorry. You, Heavenly Charms, wanted to say something, but Su Yueyao stopped her. There's no point in talking, just kill them. Su Yueyao said casually. Even if the two Nine Tribulations great emperors were in front of her, she did not care. How dare a mere human be so arrogant? Don't forget, this is the eternal demon realm, not a place for humans. The two Fox Clan guardian elders narrowed their eyes and sneered. Oh, is that so? A beautiful smile appeared on Su Yueyao's face. Just as she was about to attack, Ning Tian grabbed her wrist and chuckled softly beside her ear. Yueyao, if we can cheat, don't be stubborn. Ning Tian looked at the group of Fox tribe members before her, and a meaningful smile appeared on her face. Su Yueyao was stunned. Chapter 394. Hubby, what do you mean? Su Yueyao was taken aback. She blinked her beautiful eyes in confusion. Ning Tian smiled and pulled her into his arms. He then whispered in her ear. Su Yueyao's eyes lit up when she heard what he said. She did not expect Ning Tian to do this. Hey, are you 2F * King lovey-dovey? Although the two were discussing countermeasures, in the eyes of outsiders, it was no different from a public display of affection. The two guardians of the Fox Clan who had been single for thousands of years were furious. They were simply looking down on them. How dare you? Su Yueyao snorted coldly. Her aura that was above that of a Nine Tribulations great emperor suddenly erupted and forced the two guardians of the Fox Clan to retreat. This human woman, the two guardians of the Fox Clan steadied themselves with a solemn look in their eyes. After forcing the two Nine Tribulations great emperors to retreat, Su Yueyao did not attack again. Instead, she got out of Ning Tian's arms and stepped into the air. She stood in front of the void ship. Countless Fox Clan powerhouses below looked at her. What is this human woman trying to do? A fox with 9 tails comes walking on the moon. In the air, Su Yueyao murmured softly and awakened the 9-tailed fox bloodline in her body. In an instant, a demonic aura flowed out and a faint shadow appeared behind her. At the same time, the plug-in was received. Ning Tian looked at the beautiful back and murmured silently, "Use Bloodline Upgrade card." Using Bloodline Upgrade card. Please select your target. Target, Su Yueyao. Bloodline, 9-tailed fox. Ning Tian's lips curled into a smile as he murmured. It was not easy to control the Fox Clan with force alone. They could submit to your force, but they could also submit to others. Ning Tian wanted absolute submission. As for the Demon Clan, bloodline suppression and bloodline submission could be said to be absolute. The 9-tailed fox was the absolute supreme bloodline of the Fox Clan. It was enough to make them completely submit to her. Bloodline Upgrade card. Use successful. Effectiveness, 3 hours. When the system's voice fell, Su Yueyao's aura shook violently. Vaguely, the sky above the heavenly Fox Valley dimmed as if night had arrived. A terrifying demonic aura emanated from her body. What's the situation? Countless members of the Fox tribe saw this scene and their faces changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. The sky is dark? Night is coming. This is impossible. The expressions of the two White Fox Clan guardian elders changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with shock as they constantly muttered to themselves as if they had lost their souls. It was as if he had seen something impossible. Guardian elders, what do you mean by that? Usha's heart skipped a beat as he frowned. His instincts told him that he would be finished soon. In the fox race's ancient saying, a fox has 9 tails and treads on the moon. This is referring to the supreme of the fox race, the 9-tailed heavenly fox. Fox fiend, I don't think we need to explain what these words mean, right? The two guardian elders swallowed a mouthful of saliva, incomparably terrified. What? Husha's expression changed drastically. His pupils constricted as he suddenly looked up at the sky. This is impossible. She's clearly a human. With me, Ning Tian, around. Nothing is impossible. On the void ship, Ning Tian's lips curled into a faint smile. It was a smile filled with absolute confidence. Boom. At the same time, in the sky, a stream of light appeared on Su Yueyao's delicate body. It was as if she was wearing the moon and stars, extremely beautiful. At the same time, the world dimmed as a virtual moon formed by spirit energy illuminated the surroundings. It appeared behind Su Yueyao. The strengthened nine-tailed heavenly fox bloodline ability in her delicate body erupted as 9 phantom fox tails appeared out of thin air. At this moment, she had completely transformed into a fox demon. Absolute charm, absolute beauty in the world. And behind her, there was a snow-white fox shadow with 9 tails, proud of the world. That was the 9-tailed heavenly fox. Hiss! In an instant, all the members of the fox tribe below widened their eyes as they felt the blood in their bodies churning. The entire heavenly fox valley seemed to have fallen into a deathly silence. The legendary, the 9-tailed heavenly fox had appeared again. How could it be? I see. No wonder the ancestral master wanted the 9-tailed heavenly fox bloodline. On the void ship, Heavenly Charm's beautiful eyes were filled with shock as they landed on Su Yueyao. Even she did not expect the Queen Mother of the West to have such an identity. 9-tailed heavenly fox. This was an existence that surpassed all the members of the fox tribe. This is impossible. She's clearly a human. How could she be a 9-tailed heavenly fox? Usha's expression changed drastically as his eyes were filled with panic. He shouted, "What are all of you standing there for? Attack!" Don't be fooled by her little tricks. However, none of the surrounding foxes dared to move. Kneel. Su Yueyao snorted coldly as she raised her hand slightly. The 9 tails behind her delicate body moved, instantly making her look cute. At the same time, the suppression of her bloodline condensed. A wave of suppression, with her as the center, instantly spread across the entire heavenly fox valley. Bang! Bang bang! The sound of people kneeling on the ground suddenly rang out. Even the 2 guardian elders of the fox tribe, who were 9 tribulations' great emperors, knelt down in the void without any chance of resistance. This was the horror of the demon race's bloodline. With the suppression of the bloodline, resistance meant death. The entire heavenly fox valley was dead silent. All the members of the fox tribe knelt on the ground. There was no trace of humiliation in their eyes. Instead, there was deep fanaticism, shock, and disbelief. The 9-tailed heavenly fox. The supremacy of the fox tribe was the religion of the fox tribe. Yueyao, follow the plan I told you. Ning Tian's voice came from the void ship. He looked at the swaying 9 tails behind Su Yueyao's delicate body and could not help but want to play with them. However, they were not real fox tails, but a figment of her bloodline power. Okay. Su Yueyao nodded slightly and raised her hand. The white 9-tailed heavenly fox behind her moved as well. Kill fox bloodline. Exterminate. As soon as her voice fell, her hand fell, the bloodline power surged, and an irreversible force appeared out of thin air. Then, all the members of the fox tribe, who possessed the kill fox bloodline, instantly exploded. What? The ultimate power of the 9-tailed heavenly fox bloodline? How is that possible? You can't. Usha's expression changed drastically. However, before he could finish his sentence, the blood in his body flowed in reverse. The pitiful leader of the kill fox tribe did not even have time to finish his sentence before he died. Bam! Bam! Blood exploded continuously. Blood flowed like a river in the heavenly fox valley. In the blink of an eye, the kill fox tribe was wiped out. Su Yueyao looked at the scene indifferently. She looked at the group of fox tribe members below and opened her red lips slightly. Submit or die. Her cold voice with a hint of enchantment echoed throughout the heavenly fox valley. Cold sweat dripped down. The 2 guardian elders of the fox tribe trembled and swallowed their saliva. The fox tribe swears loyalty to the 9-tailed heavenly fox. The other tribes of the fox tribe behind them answered in trembling voices, their hearts filled with respect. The green fox tribe swears loyalty to the nine-tailed heavenly fox. The fire fox tribe swears loyalty to the nine-tailed heavenly fox. The ghost fox tribe swears loyalty to the nine-tailed heavenly fox. Voices rose one after another, constantly ringing. On the void ship, Ning Tian's lips curled into a faint smile. Everyone said that the ancestral master was very kind. Did she perfectly solve all the problems without a single death? They did not die. However, only a few 100 million kill foxes died. Author's words. Today's update ends here. It's still very slow tomorrow. Remember to wear more clothes when it's cold. Remember to read more carefully. Chapter 395. The sounds of submission continued to ring out. It reverberated throughout the entire Sky Fox Valley. At this moment, all the Fox tribe members looked up at the sky in awe. Sui Weiyao, who had transformed into a fox demon, in the virtual image of the nine-tailed fox behind her. Under the suppression of the bloodline, they were absolutely subservient. Hiss! On the void battleship, Tian Mei's pretty face was filled with shock. Her beautiful eyes sparkled as she watched Ning Tian subdue the entire fox tribe with ease. Her heart was already in turmoil. Was this the ancestral master's method? Was this the ancestral master's ability? Congratulations, you've chosen the path of survival. Ning Tian chuckled as she looked at the group of Fox clan members kneeling on the ground. She chuckled softly and said, "If any of you dare to rebel, kill your entire clan. The power of your bloodline can easily detect it." Below, there was dead silence. Although the Fox tribe members were terrified, their eyes were still filled with fanaticism. On the side, Sui Weiyao sensed a little, and then shook her head at Ning Tian. Through the power of the bloodline, the Fox tribe members felt fear and reverence. It was an absolute faith in the nine-tailed fox. Very good. Ning Tian's lips curved into a smile. Looking at Ning Tian, who was standing on the void battleship in the sky and eating an apple calmly, the Fox tribe members felt a chill in their hearts. Their eyes were filled with fear and shock. This human youth had not made a single move from the beginning to the end. However, it gave them an unfathomable feeling. Although he did not make a move, everything was under his control. This person was far more shrewd than them. Even the Fox tribe, which was known as the most cunning, was far from being his match. More importantly, Sui Weiyao, who had the nine-tailed fox bloodline, was his wife. Therefore, this human in front of them was no longer an ordinary human. He was someone they must respect. Detected the power of faith. Begin absorption? At this moment, the power of faith notification that had not sounded for a long time rang in Ning Tian's mind again. Hearing this, the corners of his mouth curved into a smile and he nodded slightly. Not bad. Absorb it. Since the message of faith energy had appeared, it meant that the Fox tribe members were starting to revere him and would not have any enmity towards him. It was enough for them to trust him. Absorbing faith energy +1. Faith energy +2. Faith energy +1. Faith energy +3. Soon, the system's voice stopped. Current power of faith collected 8000100000. Phew, only 20,000 left. Hearing this, Ning Tian revealed a satisfied smile. With another 20,000, the power of faith of 100,000 levels would be fully stored. At that time, he would have a trump card that he could use. You've shocked the entire Fox clan. Reward: Auxiliary Bloodline Absorption Ability Card and Unknown Rewards. Unknown Reward. Automatically unlocked after using the Auxiliary Bloodline Absorption Ability Card. Oh? He actually managed to maintain a sense of mystery. The corners of Ning Tian's mouth curled up in curiosity. Then, he silently put away the reward. Let's go. It's time to go down and tidy up. Looking at the celestial Fox Valley that was almost turned upside down, Ning Tian couldn't help but sigh. The power of Sha Tian's dismantling technique was really not to be underestimated. He wondered where this guy got his comprehension from. Okay, the girls nodded. Sui Weiyao stepped into the void and returned to the void ship. Although the nine-tailed celestial fox behind her dissipated and the sky returned to daylight, the slightly swaying foxtail behind her delicate body was still there. After all, it lasted for 3 hours. Seeing this slightly swaying foxtail, Ning Tian couldn't help but touch it. Unfortunately, it was a shadow after all, so he touched nothing. Seeing this, Sui Weiyao couldn't help but roll her eyes at this guy. How much does my husband like this foxtail girl? When I find the nine-tailed celestial fox bloodline and truly become a half-demon, won't this guy go crazy? Thinking of this, Sui Weiyao's pretty face turned slightly red. A few hours later, in the Celestial Fox Valley, a group of Fox Clan members began to tidy up the ruins of the building. The Celestial Fox Valley that they had maintained for thousands of years could finally be rebuilt. This feeling was really F*King delightful. F*CK. However, the Tianma cult expressed that it was just a small matter for them to rebuild it once. The Fox Clan members could only hold back their tears and rebuild the Celestial Fox Valley, but the only thing that made them unhappy was that the culprit, the abominable little lion, was actually commanding them to rebuild it. However, they didn't dare to resist. After all, this little lion was the ancestral master's pet. Roar! The flame-sealing Lion King sat on the ruins, waving its little paws and roaring excitedly at the group of Fox Clan members. Roar! 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 Lion language. Build it for Master Lion. Make it sturdier. Don't let others dismantle it. Roar! Roar! Make it sturdier so that Master Lion can continue to study the more powerful dismantling technique. Dismantle heaven and earth. Dismantle the eternal firmament. Tear down the life-forbidden zone. Master Lion, my ambition is truly great. In the main hall, Heavenly Charms, I'll leave the Fox Clan to you for the time being. Ning Tian looked at Heavenly Charms and said, Me. Heavenly Charms was stunned. Ancestral Master, why don't you let young Mistress Su come? One of the two Fox Clan Guardian Elders, the Heavenly Fox Elder, frowned and couldn't help but ask, Do you have any objections to what I said? Ning Tian looked at him coldly. No, I don't dare. The Heavenly Fox Elder hurriedly shook his head, not daring to let out a fart. As the clan leader of the demonic Fox Clan, Heavenly Charms is infinitely close to the nine-tailed Heavenly Fox. This alone is enough. Ning Tian said indifferently. The Fox Clan was just one of the small flags in his hands. How could he let his little wife stay here? Heavenly Charms, what's your consideration? Ning Tian ignored the two old men and turned to look at Heavenly Charms. Heavenly Charms was silent for a moment, then nodded heavily and a smile appeared on her face. I won't disappoint you, Ancestral Master. That's good. Ning Tian nodded with satisfaction. Heavenly Charms was trustworthy. It was enough for her to control the Fox Clan as a chess piece. Then I'll leave the rest to you. Ning Tian stretched lazily. Now that he was done with the important matters, he could not be bothered to ask about the minor ones. After all, he was already used to being a hands-off boss back in the Heavenly Demon Cult, and he would rather be in the open. It was better to be the mastermind behind the scenes and control the big matters. By the way, where's Yu Yao? Ancestral Master, the Queen Mother of the West, should be in the demonic Fox Clan's territory in the Heavenly Fox Valley. Just go deeper into the Heavenly Fox Valley and it's more intact there. It's not affected by Shaishan's dismantle formula. Heavenly Charms said slowly. All right. Ning Tian stood up and waved to everyone. Then you all can continue chatting. I'll take my leave first. After that, he stepped into the void of space. Chapter 396. Seeing Ning Tian step into the void and disappear in the blink of an eye, the two guardian elders of the Fox Clan were in awe. Although they couldn't sense Ning Tian's true strength, they could tell from the way he stepped into the void that he was at least a great emperor. Moreover, to conquer Sui Weiyao, who was a Nine Tribulations Great Emperor, he had to be at least a Nine Tribulations Great Emperor, right? So, under the blind imagination of the two guardian elders, Ning Tian became a demigod expert. It was terrifying. Clan leader of Heavenly Charms, let's talk? The two guardian elders sighed softly. At this moment, they had already completely surrendered. Okay, Heavenly Charms smiled. In the depths of the Heavenly Fox Valley, in the clan grounds, a huge statue stood there. At a closer look, it wasn't difficult to see that it was the statue of the nine-tailed Heavenly Fox. It was extremely huge. It also represented the nine-tailed Heavenly Fox's status in the Fox clan. The void rippled. Ning Tian stepped out of the void and sensed Su Yueyao's aura. Then, he walked toward the ancestral hall in the clan's land. In the ancestral hall, Su Yueyao frowned and looked around. She seemed to have encountered a dilemma. Yueyao, what's wrong? At that moment, a familiar voice rang out behind her. Su Yueyao turned around and saw Ning Tian walking towards her. Ning Tian was still frowning. She opened her red lips and said, Honey, I didn't find the bloodline of the nine-tailed fox. You didn't? Hearing this, Ning Tian frowned. He sensed the entire ancestral hall and didn't find any trace of bloodline fluctuation. Could it be that there's no bloodline of the nine-tailed Heavenly Fox in the Heavenly Charms Fox clan? Su Yueyao frowned and said uncertainly, or maybe the fox demon has already devoured the bloodline? No, there should be, but it's impossible for the fox demon to devour the bloodline. Ning Tian shook his head slightly and said with certainty. A confident smile appeared on his face. If the fox fiend had devoured the nine-tailed celestial fox's bloodline, we wouldn't have had it so easy today. You should be able to see the extent of the influence of the demon clan's bloodline. Ning Tian looked at Su Yueyao with a smile. Su Yueyao was silent for a moment before she nodded. Even though only 3 of her bloodline limits had disappeared, she was still able to fully experience the fearsomeness of her bloodline. In the demon race, as long as the difference in strength was not too great and the power of the bloodline was strong enough, it was enough to instill fear in the hearts of the demon race, making them unable to resist at all. Then, where is the bloodline of the nine-tailed fox? Su Yueyao frowned. Ning Tian pondered for a moment, and then swept his gaze across the entire ancestral hall. The ancestral hall of the clan had an ancient charm. There were many ancient items and characters in the ancestral hall. There were also many jade bottles and spirit weapons. However, there were no traces of the nine-tailed fox's bloodline among these items. Could it be the bloodline left behind by the nine-tailed fox had long disappeared? Ning Tian frowned. Other than subduing the fox race and having another pawn, there were no other benefits? This was not in line with his usual style. He frowned and looked around. Suddenly, his gaze stopped at a place. It was not in the ancestral hall. Outside the ancestral hall, the gigantic statue of the nine-tailed celestial fox shone brightly under the sunlight, looking exceptionally mysterious. Su Yueyao followed Ning Tian's gaze and said softly, That's the statue of the nine-tailed fox ancestor. I asked Tianmei and the 2 elders. Everyone in the fox race is full of reverence for the statue, almost worshipping it like a god. The statue of the ancestor, huh? Ning Tian murmured. He narrowed his eyes and smiled. Perhaps I know where the bloodline is. Where is it? Su Yueyao was stunned. Follow me, Ning Tian said. He took Su Yueyao's hand, and the 2 stepped into the void. Soon, they appeared in front of the statue of the nine-tailed fox ancestor. The 2 of them hovered in the air. In front of the huge statue, the 2 of them looked very small. Here, Ning Tian smiled and pointed at the huge statue of the nine-tailed fox ancestor. Here? Su Yueyao was stunned. She looked at the huge statue and quickly reacted. She was confused. Honey, are you saying that the nine-tailed fox ancestor's bloodline is in this statue?
Yes.
Ning Tian nodded. Then, he looked at the huge statue and said, Yueyao, do you feel reverence for the nine-tailed fox ancestor's statue? Not at all. Su Yueyao shook her head slightly. Her beautiful face was full of indifference. But the fox race worships it like a god. Therefore, the nine-tailed fox ancestor's bloodline is in this statue. Ning Tian chuckled. A glint flashed in his eyes. I remember there's a saying in the fox race's ancient language. Don't worship the gods, don't fear the gods. Only then can one obtain the nine-tailed fox. Actually, the nine-tailed fox ancestor had given a hint. Unfortunately, her words could not change the fox race's reverence for the gods. Only by not respecting the gods can one obtain the nine-tailed fox ancestor's bloodline hidden in the statue. Unfortunately, it's our turn now. As soon as his voice fell, Ning Tian's lips curled. Then, he threw out a punch. The huge amount of spiritual energy turned into a gust of wind and blasted out. It suddenly landed on the statue of the nine-tailed fox ancestor. Boom! His fist Dao attainment was suddenly unleashed. In an instant, it was earth-shattering. Cracks appeared on the statue. Then, it collapsed with a loud bang. The moment it collapsed, a red light flashed in the statue, attracting their attention. Yueyao there. Yes. Su Yueyao nodded. Then, she stepped into the void. Soon, the red light dissipated. The huge nine-tailed fox ancestor statue had turned into ruins. Dust flew everywhere. It was a mess. Not far away, in front of the ancestral hall, two figures appeared. It's really in the statue. Su Yueyao's beautiful eyes were full of splendor. In her jade-like hand, a ball of red energy surged. It was the nine-tailed fox ancestor's bloodline power hidden in it. I guessed it. Ning Tian smiled. Hidden in the statue. The fox race worshipped the nine-tailed fox as a god, so it was impossible to destroy the statue. The nine-tailed fox ancestor saw this point. If one wanted to become the nine-tailed fox, one had to surpass the nine-tailed fox ancestor. If you feared him, you would never be able to become him. But it was a pity. Ning Tian and Su Yueyao did not fear him. Let's go. It's time to try the half-demon body. Okay. In a room. The entire room was enveloped by Su Yueyao's spiritual energy and Emperor's aura, so there was no need to worry about the bloodline power leaking. She was sitting on the bed. The ball of red nine-tailed fox ancestor's bloodline in her hand was surging, emitting waves of terrifying power. Yueyao, you're ready. Let's begin. Ning Tian sat by the side, looked at her, and said in a deep voice, Okay. Su Yueyao nodded. Then, she raised her head slightly, raised her snow-white neck, opened her red lips slightly, and swallowed the bloodline power. Boom! Suddenly, her aura shook. Chapter 397. In the room, the nine-tailed fox bloodline aura began to flow. Su Yueyao sat cross-legged and began to absorb. Once the absorption was complete, she would become a half-monster. Seeing this, Ning Tian's lips curled up slightly. She sat behind her and placed her hand naturally on her shoulder. She muttered, Use, Auxiliary Bloodline Absorption Ability Card. Using the Auxiliary Bloodline Absorption Ability Card. Use successful. The mysterious reward will be automatically unlocked after Su Yueyao absorbs the bloodline. Along with the system's voice, a strange energy emerged from Ning Tian's hand, and then continuously flowed into Su Yueyao's body. The energy absorbed by the bloodline in her body instantly increased by a lot. She was surprised and wanted to check it out. Ning Tian's gentle voice sounded behind her. Don't look. Just absorb the bloodline ability silently. Hearing this, Su Yueyao felt warm in her heart. She didn't need to think to know that Ning Tian had helped her silently. Then, she took a deep breath and her red lips curled slightly. The absorption speed increased again. A few hours later, in the room, the aura slightly emerged. Ning Tian was sitting cross-legged behind Su Yueyao, silently cultivating. Suddenly, he felt a commotion between his legs. He subconsciously opened his eyes and his expression changed. Ning Tian was a little stunned. Behind Su Yueyao, 8 fluffy fox tails swayed and the fox ears moved. It was cute in an instant. Honey, at this moment, Su Yueyao's voice sounded. She turned slightly and looked at Ning Tian with a blushing face. Do you like me like this? While speaking, the fox tails swayed and the fox ears moved slightly. At this moment, Ning Tian finally saw Su Yueyao's appearance at this moment. She was simply the most seductive fox-tail girl. And it wasn't 8 tails. It was 9 tails. However, compared to the other tails, the 9th tail was a little small. After all, once it became a complete 9 tails, it would directly break through to the god realm. Yueyao, Did you succeed? Ning Tian stared blankly. After coming to his senses, there was a flash of joy in his eyes. Yes, Su Yueyao nodded. At this moment, she was a half-monster. As she nodded, the fox ears on her head swayed, making her look very cute. I am now in a half-monster state. Although I have 9 tails, they are not the real 9 tails. As Su Yueyao spoke, she lifted her furry fox tail and gently stroked it. The 9th tail is an illusory tail. If you want it to take shape, you'll have to wait until you reach the god realm. Peri-celestial, 9 tails formed. I see. Ning Tian nodded slightly. Looking at Su Yueyao now, his heart was itching. As a serious person, he really wanted to understand the specific structure of the foxtail. That was all. Also, I know something else. Su Yueyao's red lips opened slightly. That is, the primogenitor of the Jade Lake Holy Land was actually the son of the 9-tailed heavenly fox. That is why our Jade Lake's bloodline is able to fuse with the 9-tailed heavenly fox's bloodline so easily. There is more. Speaking of this, Su Yueyao licked her red lips. At this moment, a charming aura quietly flowed out. She stood up slightly and moved closer. Her foxtail moved around on Ning Tian's body, tickling him a little. Now, I have a one-time moon fox body. Although I am not a virgin, I can still obtain the moonlight Dao. Su Yueyao winked at Ning Tian. Her eyes were like silk, full of seduction. Moonlight Dao. Ning Tian narrowed his eyes. Then the corner of his mouth curved into a wicked smile. He reached out his hand to touch the foxtail. When her foxtail was attacked, Su Yueyao's delicate body trembled. It was as if some wonderful mechanism had been activated. Her delicate body suddenly heated up. Her pretty face was pink, and the breath she exhaled was hot and rapid. Yueyao, it seems that your half-monster body is not good enough. Ning Tian laughed evilly, his hand unrestrainedly stroking the furry fox tail. Who said it's not good enough? Su Yueyao snorted, then gritted her teeth. Her aura fluctuated, and she turned over and directly pressed Ning Tian under her body. With a red face, she said, "Today, I will prove my combat strength." With that said, she bent down and pressed her red lips directly on Ning Tian's lips. Ning Tian's eyes widened. Damn, this woman is rebelling. At the same time, Immortal Dragon Tribe, in the palace. What? A slightly old exclamation sounded. An old man glared at the middle-aged man kneeling on the ground in front of him and said angrily, "You said that 3rd young Master Long's soul tablet is broken?" Reporting to the Dragon Emperor. The middle-aged man's body trembled. Although he was afraid, he could only bite the bullet and answer, "Yes, 3rd young Master Long's soul tablet is broken. I'm afraid he has been killed." Boom. In an instant, the entire palace shook, and waves of dragon power continued to spread out. Boom. At this moment, all the members of the Immortal Dragon Tribe were shocked. This was the wrath of the Dragon Emperor. Which blind fool dared to provoke the Immortal Dragon Emperor? The rage lasted for a few minutes. In the palace, the middle-aged man was lying on the ground, cold sweat pouring down. Where was 3rd young Master Long last seen? The Immortal Dragon Emperor said in a deep voice, and a trace of killing intent appeared on his old face. Reporting to the Dragon Emperor, Heavenly Fox Valley. The middle-aged man hurriedly said, "Heavenly Fox Valley? Fox Tribe? Very good." The Immortal Dragon Emperor snorted heavily, then turned around and walked out of the palace. "Lord Dragon Emperor, you are already so old. Where are you going?" "Heavenly Fox Valley. Although I am old, my dragon power is not to be violated." After another few hours of fighting, in the room, looking at Su Yueyao who had fallen into a deep sleep, Ning Tian sighed deeply. Sigh, women are still no match for me. Before the battle, Su Yueyao still had the strength to fight. But unfortunately, as soon as the foxtail appeared, she lost all her combat power. Ning Tian got up, then picked up the blanket and covered her delicate body with it. Then, he stretched. Fortunately, he was Ning Buxu. Even with the foxtail, he was not weak. "The Tao of Moonlight," he murmured. Sure enough, after the battle with Su Yueyao, he comprehended the Tao of Moonlight. In this way, at night, when he used the Tao of Moonlight, his combat power would surge, and his spiritual energy absorption speed would be faster. Not bad. This trip to the Fox tribe is not bad. Ning Tian smiled and looked at the bed. At this moment, Su Yueyao was still in her half-monster state. She was curled up with a sweet smile on her face, hugging her fox tail and sleeping quietly. Now, she needed to rest to adjust the demonic energy and spiritual energy in her body. Phew, time to go out. Ning Tian heaved a sigh of relief and was about to leave the room. But at this moment, there was a roar. Boom. Then, there was a thunderous explosion. I, the immortal Dragon Emperor, have arrived. You mere foxes, why don't you come out? The immortal Dragon Emperor? Ning Tian frowned. The immortal Dragon Emperor came so quickly? At this moment, the system's voice sounded. The mysterious reward has been unlocked. The host is rewarded with a one-stop service. Author's words, 2 Book Friends 115-087-4306. Chapter 398. One-stop service? Ning Tian was stunned for a moment when he heard the prompt voice of the system in his mind. He had a strange expression on his face. He really didn't think too much about it. He was just curious about what this one-stop service meant. Host, please don't misunderstand. The system is very serious. In his mind, the system's voice sounded. One-stop service, ancestral dragon bloodline power, ancestral dragon soul, ancestral dragon blood essence, undevoured, ancestral dragon might, etc. Everything is available except the ancestral dragon cultivation level, effective for 7 days. So, this is the one-stop service. Ning Tian murmured. He thought that the one-stop service would have a dragon made. Everything is available except the ancestral dragon cultivation level, effective for 7 days? Ning Tian frowned and a sharp light flashed in her eyes. Su Yueyao was currently in a deep slumber. She needed some time to consolidate her half-monster body. She would not be able to fight it this time. The 2 guardian elders of the Fox clan would not be able to stop the immortal Dragon Emperor. After all, although the 2 guardian elders were 9 tribulations' great emperors, the immortal Dragon Emperor was at the demigod realm. He would not be able to gain any advantage if he fought it head-on. Maybe there is a way. Ning Tian pondered for a while and came up with an idea. This one-stop service might be able to intimidate the immortal Dragon Emperor. Life was like a play. It all depended on one's acting skills. However, facing the immortal Dragon Emperor who was at the demigod realm, even if he used the chaotic aura to hide his aura, the unique aura of the human clan would not be able to escape the Dragon Emperor's senses. In that case, there was only one way. Looks like I can only reluctantly let Sha Tian act tough. A meaningful smile appeared on Ning Tian's face. Then, he stepped into the void. He disappeared from the room. Heavenly Fox Valley. When the immortal Dragon Emperor's aura descended, Sha Tian found a secluded corner to hide. In his words, that was, Master Lion was not afraid of death. Master Lion was just looking for a good corner to observe the battle techniques and make up for the weakness of the dismantle technique. Roar. That was it. Awoo awoo. Unfortunately, before it could hide properly, a hand grabbed its ear and pulled it out of the corner. Roar. 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 The ceiling flame Lion King was instantly enraged. It roared as it turned its head, but before it could finish speaking, its expression changed. Which blind person dared to pull Master Lion's ear? Awu. Let's see if Master Lion bites you to death. Ahaha, so you're Master Lion's handsome ancestor. Cut the crap. Ning Tian rolled his eyes at it, and then looked at it. He gently stroked its fur and said with a smile, My good God, now I'll give you a chance to show off. You have to perform well. Gulp. Looking at Ning Tian's smiling face, the Lion King swallowed his saliva with some difficulty. As the saying goes, when the patriarch smiled, it was hard to predict whether he would live or die. It was over. Master Lion is finished. It's like this. Ning Tian leaned over and whispered into its furry ear. As soon as he finished speaking, roar! The ceiling flame Lion King looked at Ning Tian in disbelief. It widened its beastly eyes and looked at him. Damn! The ancestral master wasn't trying to trick him anymore. He had actually given the chance to act tough to Master Lion. Shocking. You've shocked the ceiling flame Lion King. Ceiling flame Lion King's IQ +1. Ning Tian was silent for a moment. Looking at the excited ceiling flame Lion King, he held his forehead helplessly. He was a little worried that this baleful Lion King would not be able to do it well. After all, the ceiling flame Lion King had a high bloodline and was a demonic beast. It would not be a problem to use a one-dragon service on it. Even the demigod realm immortal dragon emperor would not be able to tell the difference. Now, it was up to the ceiling flame Lion King to act. Let's go. Don't mess it up. Ning Tian said lightly. He grabbed this guy and stepped into the void. Heavenly Fox Valley. The dragon's might shook the sky and darkened it. Clouds and rain were falling in the sky. A huge black dragon could be vaguely seen hovering in the clouds. There was a phenomenon in the sky. A divine dragon was descending. In the Heavenly Fox Valley, all the Fox tribe members looked at the sky solemnly. Dark clouds covered the city, and a white-haired elder was standing in the clouds. Fox tribe, our dragon emperor has arrived. Why aren't you coming out to welcome him? A thunderous roar sounded in the sky. May I know why the immortal dragon emperor has come? At this moment, in the Heavenly Fox Valley, Tian Mei's voice was neither servile nor overbearing. She walked out of the main hall calmly. The 2-9 Tribulation's great emperors of the Fox tribe behind her were panicking. What's the matter? The third son of the immortal dragon tribe, third young Master Long's soul tablet has been shattered. The last place he appeared was your Heavenly Fox Valley. The immortal dragon tribe's guard shouted in the dark clouds. Is that so? That's a pity. However, it's a pity that the Heavenly Fox Valley didn't know about this. Tian Mei raised her eyebrows slightly, but her expression was still calm. Seeing this, the 2 Fox tribe's guardian elders were full of admiration. No wonder the ancestral master let Tian Mei take Miss Su's place in the Fox tribe. Her courage and calmness were far beyond theirs. One had to know. The elder in the sky was the immortal dragon emperor, who was in charge of the immortal dragon tribe, one of the 4 royal tribes of the demon race. He was also a demigod expert. How could they not be in awe of such a powerful existence? In fact, Tian Mei was also panicking. However, when she thought about the ancestral master behind them, she felt more confident. She couldn't please the immortal dragon emperor, right? That would disappoint the ancestral master. You, the immortal dragon tribe's guard, wanted to say something, but he was interrupted by the immortal dragon emperor before he could finish. You may leave.
Yes.
The guard had a respectful look on his face. The immortal dragon emperor glanced at Tian Mei and said coldly, "What a little girl from the Fox clan. I didn't expect you to be so calm after seeing me. But you can't fool me. I can sense the dragon blood of the third young master. Even if you clean it up, I can still do it." Tian Mei was shocked when she heard this. She frowned. She did order people to clean up the dragon blood, but she didn't expect that she still couldn't escape the immortal dragon emperor's senses. A demigod expert was indeed terrifying. You can't fool me. The immortal dragon emperor's old voice sounded. His eyes were cold. Hand over the person who killed my son. Otherwise, the Fox tribe will cease to exist. When he said that, the Fox tribe's faces changed. However, due to their faith in Ning Tian, they didn't panic. They all stared at the immortal dragon emperor. The immortal dragon emperor frowned. Why did the Fox tribe become so confident? Could it be? Are they not afraid of death? I killed him. At this moment, a hearty voice sounded. A figure appeared in the sky. Who is it? The immortal dragon emperor's eyes widened in shock. Chapter 399. They saw. In the void, a young man stepped out with an apple in one hand and appeared beside heavenly charms. Behind him was a small lion cub. A human? Who are you? The immortal dragon emperor frowned and looked at the young man biting the apple. This aura, is he a human? Hearing this, Ning Tian's action of biting the apple clearly paused. His eyes narrowed slightly, and the corners of his mouth lifted into a smile. As expected, this demigod stage expert was able to see the aura of a human at a glance. However, it did not matter. All of this was within his expectations. Ancestral Master. Greetings, Ancestral Master. Heavenly Charms and the two guardian elders of the Fox tribe heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Ning Tian. They bowed respectfully to Ning Tian. The surrounding Fox tribe members also relaxed. They believed in Ning Tian. With Ning Tian around, he felt the greatest sense of security. The immortal Dragon Emperor sensed the changes in the Fox tribe's demeanor. He frowned and did not understand why the arrival of this young man would make the Fox tribe members change their demeanor. Are you the one who killed third young Master Long? The immortal Dragon Emperor looked at him coldly and asked coldly. Ning Tian did not refute and nodded. He finished the apple in one bite and clapped his hands. That's right. I killed him. As soon as he said that, before Ning Tian could finish speaking, the immortal Dragon Emperor's draconic might shook violently and charged towards Ning Tian in a cold streak of light. Boom. It was swift and deadly. The demigod realm aura came crashing down. Ancestral Master. Be careful, Ancestral Master. Seeing this, Heavenly Charm's expression changed. The expressions of the surrounding Fox tribe members changed as well, their eyes filled with worry. However, Ning Tian was as unmoving as a mountain. He stood where he was with a calm expression and slowly said, "Could it be that you want to defy the ancestral dragon's ancient language?" Boom. As soon as he said this, the immortal Dragon Emperor's body trembled, and the dragon soul that was only a step away from Ning Tian was instantly shattered. A trace of astonishment flashed through his dragon eyes as he looked at Ning Tian. Human brat, what did you just say? The divine might was only one step away from shattering, but Ning Tian was still extremely calm. A faint smile appeared on the corner of his lips. This was also part of his plan. What he was playing with was his heartbeat. I mean, are you going to defy the ancestral dragon's ancient language? Ning Tian smiled and looked at the immortal Dragon Emperor. Ancestral dragon ancient language? The immortal Dragon Emperor frowned and stared at Ning Tian. Impossible. The ancestral dragon has already gone to the god realm. How can there be an ancestral dragon in the 9 regions? A mere human dares to deceive. How dare you? Before the immortal Dragon Emperor could finish his words, he heard a loud roar. All of a sudden, he was a little confused, and he frowned. Before he could get angry, he heard Ning Tian speak again. The ancestral dragon is right here, right in front of you. Old man, could it be that you can't tell? Right here? The immortal Dragon Emperor was about to get angry, but his expression changed slightly when he heard this. The immortal Dragon Clan guards behind him also became serious and looked around. To the immortal Dragon Clan, the ancestral dragon was like the 9-tailed celestial fox to the Fox Clan. It was enough to make all dragons respect it, including the immortal Dragon Emperor. Human brat, are you going to say that you are the ancestral dragon? The immortal Dragon Emperor looked around and didn't see any trace of the ancestral dragon. He sneered and looked at Ning Tian. I'm not the ancestral dragon. Ning Tian smiled faintly and took a step back. He pointed at the flame-sealing Lion King behind him and said loudly, "This is the real ancestral dragon." As soon as he said this, everyone looked at him. Then, there was a strange silence. Roar! The flame-sealing Lion King blinked. Ha ha ha, brat, I've heard of calling a deer a horse, but I've never heard of calling a lion a dragon. A deer and a horse have at least 4 legs, but how can you compare a lion to a dragon? Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. The immortal Dragon Emperor sneered. Behind him, the immortal Dragon Clan guards couldn't help but laugh. This lion was useless except for being cute. How could it be the ancestral dragon? How ridiculous. Even the members of the Fox Clan were confused. How could this little lion be the ancestral dragon? Is that so? The corners of Ning Tian's mouth curled up into a smile. Soon, the faces of this group of immortal dragons would be slapping loudly. Use it on Sha Tian. Using it. One-stop service. Use successful. Next, it would depend on Sha Tian's acting skills. Roar. In an instant, the one-stop service was activated. The flame-sealing Lion King felt endless power. Apart from its cultivation, it was a ferocious little lion dragon. Roar. With a lion's roar, a strange thing happened. An ancestral dragon phantom suddenly appeared behind it. That strong pressure, along with a trace of bloodline suppression, instantly caused the group of immortal dragons who were laughing in the sky just now to crash. F***. Boom, boom, boom. One by one, they fell heavily on the ground, creating a dragon-shaped pit. Even the immortal dragon emperor's body sank and was forced to descend from the sky. Ning Tian narrowed her eyes at the sight of this. The dragon might provided by the One Dragon service was indeed effective. It was a pity that Sha Tian's cultivation was too low. He couldn't kill this old guy, otherwise he would have been killed. Ning Tian sighed. Then, he looked at the immortal dragon emperor. Old man, do you believe me now? The dragon might of the ancestral dragon. The shadow of the ancestral dragon. This is real. How is this possible? It's just a little lion. How can it have the dragon might of the ancestral dragon? This doesn't conform to my knowledge. The immortal dragon emperor's mind went blank. The flame-sealing Lion King in front of him had a strong demonic aura, and the dragon might was real. Although he was confused, as the immortal dragon emperor, he could tell at a glance whether the dragon might was real or fake. If it wasn't the dragon might of the ancestral dragon, then what was it? But why did the ancestral dragon look like a lion? You. At this moment, the immortal dragon emperor looked at Ning Tian in a different light, and a bitter smile appeared on his face. Just as he was about to ask, Ning Tian interrupted him. There's no need to say more. Ning Tian waved her hand slightly and spouted nonsense with a straight face. The reason the ancestral dragon is like this is because it was injured, and I was the one who saved it. Therefore, your immortal dragon clan owes me a favor. Inexplicably, the immortal dragon clan owed Ning Tian a favor. Yes, at this moment, the immortal dragon emperor looked at the little lion with a complicated expression. No, he looked at the ancestral dragon. Roar. Seeing that the demigod immortal dragon emperor was looking at him with reverence, the Lion King roared proudly and spoke in lion language. Little old man, why aren't you kneeling when you see Master Lion? The flame-sealing Lion King was extremely happy at this moment. Is this the joy of acting tough? I didn't know that the happiness of the ancestral dragon emperor was so good. Plop. The immortal dragon emperor really knelt down. Although it was in the lion language with the dragon soul, it became the ancient language of the ancestral dragon. Ancestral dragon emperor. Hearing the familiar ancient language of the ancestral dragon, the immortal dragon emperor burst into tears. He looked at the flame-sealing Lion King and said, Ancestral dragon emperor, the dragon clan has been waiting for you. How did you become a lion? Chapter 400. Everyone from the heavenly Fox Valley was stunned when they saw the immortal dragon emperor kneeling on the ground. They stared at the Lion King with their eyes wide open. They didn't know that the Lion King had such an identity. The ancestral dragon. The ancestral dragon of the immortal dragon tribe. Roar, roar. The sealing flame Lion King faltered momentarily upon seeing this. Then, it pursed its lips and unleashed its aura to its fullest extent. It immediately got into character as it pointed at the immortal dragon emperor, and the projection of the ancestral dragon behind it also exuded bursts of terrifying dragon might. Yes, ancestral dragon. You're right. It's our fault for not finding you earlier. We've made you suffer. We were wrong. Please forgive us, ancestral dragon. At this moment, the white-haired immortal dragon emperor was like a junior in front of Sha Tian, listening to his lecture. After all, the bloodline of the ancestral dragon was more powerful than anything else. According to the power of the bloodline of the monster tribe, the ancestral dragon was indeed more powerful than the immortal dragon emperor. The Fox clan's respect for the nine-tailed celestial fox could be seen. Roar, roar, roar. The ceiling flame Lion King roared again. Ancestral dragon, are you saying that we should find you 10 lionesses? Are the dragon maids of the dragon tribe not good enough? Yes. Then we'll do as you say and find you 10 lionesses. Ning Tian couldn't help but shake his head when he saw this. Sha Tian. But it seemed that the crisis had been resolved for now. He sized up the immortal dragon emperor with a sinister look and smirked. He could make use of the immortal dragon emperor. After all, the immortal dragon emperor was one of the 4 royal tribes of the demon race. He could consider it. The 2 guardian elders of the Fox clan trembled when they saw this. The ancestral dragon emperor smiled. Someone was going to be in trouble. After all, they were familiar with this. Roar, roar. Flame-sealing Lion King pointed at Ning Tian again and roared. The immortal dragon emperor nodded in agreement. He stood up. He walked toward Ning Tian and bowed to Ning Tian. Ancestral dragon emperor, I'm sorry for offending you. I'm really sorry for offending you. Our dragon race is not an ungrateful person. You saved our ancestor. The dragon race will never forget this favor. With that said, a projection of light appeared in his hand, and a dragon scale appeared. He passed it to Ning Tian. Ancestral Master, this is the immortal dragon scale. As long as you are in the firmament territory, you can use it whenever you are in trouble. The immortal dragon tribe will help you with all our strength. Indestructible dragon scale? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows and looked to the side. The fire-sealing Lion King was secretly giving him a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Ning Tian didn't waste any time and directly took it over. Sha Tian, this fellow, had finally learned his strengths. Only by cheating people could he be considered a master. To the immortal dragon monarch, the indestructible dragon scale was nothing. To him, it was a form of faith and a form of spirit. If he could let his clansmen observe the dragon might and dragon soul of their ancestor, it would definitely improve their overall strength by quite a bit. However, he didn't expect that the dragon soul and dragon might in front of him were not Sha Tian's. Even if he racked his brains to comprehend it, he wouldn't be able to comprehend anything. Although it was a good plan, it was a pity. Ancestral Master, I want to take our ancestor back to the immortal dragon tribe. Can you agree? The immortal dragon emperor asked again. He could tell that the immortal dragon clan's old ancestor treated this human very well, so he was very respectful when he spoke to Ning Tian. He could offend anyone, but he couldn't offend their ancestor. This, Ning Tian frowned. If he let the immortal dragon emperor take Sha Tian away, he would be in danger once the One Dragon service ended. At this moment, the fire-sealing Lion King hurriedly gave Ning Tian a look, hinting for him to agree. I still want to enjoy those 10 lionesses. Ancestral Master wants to eat meat, so I can't leave you behind. Asterisk, asterisk, caret, asterisk, humph. All right. However, I will come and take him away in 6 days. Ning Tian nodded slightly. Thank you, Ancestral Master. The immortal dragon emperor looked at Ning Tian gratefully. He had completely forgotten why he had come here in the first place. Third young Master Long? Who was third young Master Long? Anyway, he had so many descendants, so he didn't mind if one of them died. None of them were more important than their ancestor. As for leaving Sha Tian in the immortal dragon tribe, he didn't even think about it. Who was he to interfere with where their ancestor wanted to go? Ancestral Master, we'll take our leave. The immortal dragon emperor bowed and then transformed into an old black dragon that was thousands of meters long. He let out a series of dragon roars and looked at the fire-sealing Lion King. Ancestor, please come up. Hearing this, the fire-sealing Lion King jumped onto the dragon's back and became the first lion to ride a dragon in the Tianqian continent. The immortal dragon tribe left as quickly as they came. In the Sky Fox Valley, the Fox tribe looked at the immortal dragon tribe in confusion and then looked at Ning Tian. It was like a dream. They felt that the ancestral master had done nothing and the immortal dragon tribe had left. Moreover, the ancestral master had obtained the immortal dragon scale. Who would dare to provoke him in the firmament territory? Let's go. Ning Tian waved at the celestial Fox Valley clansman with a smile on her face. She had only managed to scam an indestructible dragon scale, which was a bit disappointing. She wondered what other good things the indestructible dragon clan had. In the blink of an eye, 6 days had passed. In the room, phew. Ning Tian exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and stretched his body. The fox tail swayed and gradually disappeared. Sui Weiyao opened her eyes slightly and finally woke up from her deep sleep. Yueyao, you're awake? Seeing this, Ning Tian's eyes flashed with joy. Yes. Sui Weiyao nodded slightly. At this moment, she had already left the fox demon transformation. The quilt covering her body slid down, revealing her delicate white jade-like body. After absorbing the nine-tailed fox bloodline, she had become even more charming. Her figure seemed to have become more voluptuous. Ning Tian's heart itched at the sight of her, but he had business to attend to. Since you're awake, let's go to the immortal dragon tribe. It's just about time. Ning Tian glanced at her fair skin and then said seriously, The immortal dragon tribe? Sui Weiyao was stunned. She waved her hand gently, and the gauze covering her body disappeared. She looked at Ning Tian with some confusion. It's like this. Ning Tian chuckled and told Sui Weiyao what had happened in the past few days. Sha Tian turned into the ancestral dragon and went to the immortal dragon tribe? Sui Weiyao was surprised after hearing this. For his safety, let's leave as soon as possible. Yes. Half a day later, a huge void battleship appeared in the Dragon Soul Forest. Seeing the Dragon Soul Forest in a mess, with potholes everywhere and collapsed ancient trees, Sui Weiyao frowned slightly. A trace of confusion flashed in her beautiful eyes. Beside her, Ning Tian seemed to have thought of something. At this moment, before they could get close, a figure flew over with a sobbing voice. Ancestral Master, you're finally here. I beg of you, please take the Ancestral Master away. Don't tear it down. There's really nothing to tear down in the land of the immortal dragon tribe. Ancestral Master, I beg of you, take the Ancestral Master away. Author's words, it's the holidays. Have fun, eat, and drink. Chapter 401. The immortal dragon emperor sobbed as he flew toward the void ship. His originally aged complexion seemed to have aged even more. His complexion was somewhat ugly, and it was as if he had lost all hope in life. Oh! On the void ship, Ning Tian stood on the deck and looked at the immortal dragon emperor with a smile. Old dragon, take your time. You're old. Why are you in such a hurry? Come, let's sit down and have a drink. There's no hurry. The immortal dragon emperor was speechless. Ancestral Master, we can't drink anymore. It's not that I'm impatient. It's just that the old ancestor's power is too strong. In just 6 days, the Dragon Soul Forest was turned upside down. All the buildings in the Dragon Palace were razed to the ground. That's terrifying. Is that the Ancestral Master's dragon might? The immortal dragon emperor swallowed his saliva with difficulty. He regarded the power that could destroy everything as the Ancestral Master's dragon might. After all, the old ancestor was able to display the ancestral dragon's divine might and control the power of this divine might to destroy the buildings. Their clansmen were completely unharmed. Even he admired this kind of control over power. However, showing it once was enough. He didn't have to do it for 6 consecutive days. If he continued, the immortal dragon tribe would have no home to return to. Ancestral Master, please take the Ancestral Master away. Tears streamed down the immortal dragon emperor's face. Perhaps the immortal dragon clan's foundation was too weak. Their ancestor had been in the clan for 6 days and released his dragon might for 6 days, but they hadn't been able to sense anything at all. Instead, their buildings had all been destroyed. What a loss. What a loss. Boom. Boom. Just as the immortal dragon emperor was speaking, a loud boom came from not far away. Then, the entire Dragon Soul Forest shook violently. Birds and beasts were startled, and dust flew everywhere. It was accompanied by an excited lion roar. Roar! The cries of the immortal Dragon Clan's clansmen rang out at this moment. Their voices were hysterical and filled with despair. Ancestor, please don't. That's the Dragon Emperor's sculpture. Boom. Before they could finish, the sculpture collapsed, and dust rose into the air like a mushroom cloud. In the sky, the immortal Dragon Emperor's face darkened, and 3 black lines appeared on his forehead. He suddenly felt that bringing the old ancestor back to the immortal dragon tribe was the wrong choice, but he couldn't chase him away now. After all, this was the old ancestor of the ancestral dragon. On the side, Ning Tian and Su Yueyao couldn't help laughing. Sha Tian was definitely practicing the word disassembly technique in the immortal dragon clan. Unfortunately for them, the immortal dragon emperor thought that their ancestor was using his dragon might to teach them a lesson. It was a pity. Word-splitting formula. How could an ordinary person learn it? Oh, about that. Ning Tian pretended to be in a difficult position inside. Old man Long. I actually don't know why Sha Tian is so good at tearing things apart. Perhaps his true nature has been exposed, but unfortunately, I still can't take him away. Ah, ancestor, why is this so? The immortal dragon emperor panicked when he heard that Ning Tian couldn't take the forefather away. Damn it, if the forefather was taken away for a few more days, not to mention the ancestral land of the immortal dragon tribe, even their ancestral tomb would be destroyed. Sigh, I've been missing Sha Tian so much that I've fallen ill. I don't have the strength to take him away. Ning Tian sighed. The point was that he also wanted to take Sha Tian away, but he didn't have the strength to do so. The immortal dragon emperor frowned, but he didn't doubt it at all, because he just wanted the ancestral master to take the forefather away. Ancestral master, I have a lot of spiritual herbs and some immortal pills in this storage ring. There are even some immortal pills that men need. I promise you won't be weak. The immortal dragon emperor coughed and took out a storage ring as he spoke. Sigh, old man Long, you've gone too far. How can I be weak? However, I have a friend called Chingajiang. The last time I saw him, he looked like a pretty boy. One look and I could tell that he was very weak. So, I'll take this storage ring on his behalf. Ning Tian said seriously as he took the storage ring from the immortal dragon emperor. Oh, Chingajiang? Could it be the pavilion master of the Heaven's Secret Pavilion, Chingajiang? The immortal dragon emperor frowned and gasped. I didn't expect him to be so weak. Sigh, I always thought that he was very strong. Yes. At the side, Ning Tian nodded without any change in expression. Anyway, it's not too much for me to trick that damn fortune teller, right? So, ancestral master, can you take the forefather away now? The immortal dragon emperor looked at Ning Tian and rubbed his hands expectantly. While the two were chatting, the ground was being ravaged again. Well, Ning Tian smiled and looked at the immortal dragon emperor maliciously. The old man Long shuddered. Why do I feel like the ancestral master wants to eat me? I also need a drop of your blood essence, old man Long, Ning Tian said with a smile. My, blood essence? Hearing this, the immortal dragon emperor frowned. After a moment of silence, he nodded. Okay. The blood essence of the dragon clan was used to strengthen the body of ordinary people. The ancestral master had the forefather with him, so the blood essence shouldn't be of much use. As long as the ancestral master could take the forefather away, the blood essence was nothing. However, what he didn't know was that the blood essence would be 1,000 times more effective in Ning Tian's hands. Soon, a drop of the blood essence appeared in the immortal dragon emperor's hand. Although it was only a small drop, the energy it contained was far more than that. There was a small blood-red dragon swimming in the blood essence, which was enough to prove that it was the purest blood essence of the dragon clan in the 9 regions. After all, there was no real ancestral dragon in the 9 regions. Not bad. With the blood essence of the dragon emperor, I feel like I can do it again. Ning Tian smiled kindly and put the blood essence of the dragon emperor into the jade bottle. It felt really good to be able to get the strongest blood essence of the dragon clan without spending any effort. All right, Sha Tian, come back. Ning Tian was satisfied that she had swindled the immortal dragon queen. She stood on the deck and said indifferently, "Let's go." In an instant, there was a roar from below and a figure flew over. It was the flame-sealing Lion King. "Let's go, Sha Tian. You've dismantled everything. You can go now," Ning Tian said casually. The flame-sealing Lion King looked at the mess below and felt a sense of pride. As expected of me, Master Lion King's dismantling skills had reached a new level. However, it still took him 6 days to dismantle the immortal dragon clan to this extent. The ancestral master didn't even use a day to destroy the Tiamat cult. It seemed that he still had to learn. Author's words, "Ahaha, I woke up late and was a little slow." Chapter 402. Phew! The immortal dragon emperor heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the ancestor had finally come out of the dragon soul forest. He was saved. Damn it! He almost lost his ancestral grave. Thank goodness. Ancestor, please go back with the ancestral master. I still have many things to do here. The immortal dragon emperor frowned and forced a smile as he looked at the seal flame Lion King. Thanks to the ancestor, the immortal dragon tribe was quite carefree before this. But now, the entire tribe was rebuilding their home. How inspiring! Roar! The seal flame Lion King patted the immortal dragon emperor's shoulder and roared. Lion language, "Little dragon, you've done well. I really like those female lions from last time." The immortal dragon emperor chuckled and looked at the seal flame Lion King. "I'm glad you like them." The immortal dragon emperor was puzzled. There were so many dragon maids in the dragon tribe, but the ancestor didn't like them at all. He only liked the lionesses. How strange. Could it be that the ancestor dragon had a special taste? "All right, old dragon, I'll see you later," Ning Tian said to the immortal dragon emperor. He still had the immortal dragon scale that the immortal dragon emperor had given him, so he had another trump card. It felt good to be free. "All right, ancestral master." The immortal dragon emperor heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. The void ship turned around. "Ancestral master, ancestor, take care. Come visit me when you're free," the immortal dragon emperor said out of courtesy. "All right." Hearing this, Ning Tian smiled and nodded. Then, she steered the void ship away. The immortal dragon emperor stared blankly at the departing airship. He wanted to slap himself in the face. Damn it. I was just being polite, and the ancestral master agreed. Shameless. Why was I so talkative? There was a long silence. A bright light flashed in his eyes as he turned around to look at the dragon soul forest that had been reduced to a pile of ruins. The corner of his mouth twitched as he recalled the meaningful smile of the ancestral master just now. Damn it. No, I'm moving. Dragons, heed my orders. Move. Move the ancestral grave. Hide for a while. The void ship kept moving forward and soon returned to the heavenly Fox Valley. In the past few days, the members of the exquisite celestial Fox clan had also returned to this familiar clanland. There were still more than 10 days before the Black Earth Death Mountain opened. Ning Tian was too lazy to wander around. He simply stayed in the Sky Fox Valley for the rest of the time, waiting for the Black Earth Death Mountain to open. Anyway, the Sky Fox Valley was not too far away from the Black Earth Death Mountain. Su Yueyao's presence was enough to propel the void ship to its maximum speed. After all, she had achieved a half-demon body and her strength had reached the demigod realm. In these 10 days, Ning Tian unlocked various ways to play with the fox, as well as the cultivation method. He studied it very seriously, such as how to stroke the fox's tail to make it more comfortable, how to realize the movement of the fox's ears, and a series of great questions. Of course, he didn't neglect his cultivation either. Time flew. Blink. More than 10 days had passed, and the Black Earth Death Mountain was about to open. 2 more days. The unreachable heavenly spirit region. West Continent. Tianma cult. In the magnificent hall, a beautiful figure was sitting on the high seat. She was wearing a blue and white dress. Her pretty face was cold, and there was a trace of coldness in her eyes. She looked at the Great Elder in front of her and opened her red lips slightly. Great Elder, Why are you looking for me? Looking at Luo Wuqing, who was even colder than before, the great elder couldn't help but tremble, and a wry smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Over the past half a year, he had finally come to a decision. The Empress of the Tianma cult had shown everyone in the heavenly spirit region what it meant to be ruthless and what it meant to be an empress. The current heavenly spirit region had reached the strongest level in the past 10,000 years. Yes, Empress. The Taishang elder nodded and looked at Luo Wuqing. He frowned and said slowly, I have two pieces of news. One is good news and the other is bad news. Which one would you like to hear first? Up to you. Luo Wuqing's tone was indifferent, and he looked indifferent. Hearing this, the great elder smiled bitterly. Since the patriarch went to the firmament territory, the empress had become colder and colder. Perhaps the only thing that could interest her was the news about that man. Then I'd better tell you the good news first. You must be interested in this news, because it's about the patriarch. The great elder smiled. Oh? Hearing this, Luo Wuqing's frowning eyebrows relaxed. She was indeed interested. She looked at the great elder and said indifferently, Tell me about it. Recently, our ancestor has become famous in the chaotic emperor's realm of the firmament territory. At the chaos pageant, he robbed millions of practitioners alone. TSK. Such a magnificent feat is simply unprecedented. The great elder sighed repeatedly. The patriarch was indeed the strongest man in the heavenly spirit region. Even in the firmament territory, he was still so capable. That was a chaos pageant with 1,000,000 practitioners. Although the great elder was far away in the heavenly spirit region, he had heard of the chaos pageant as one of the biggest pageants of the human clan. Moreover, the void god celestial palace is about to be destroyed by the patriarch. Hehe, Ning Buxu. The great elder gloated and told Luo Wuqing what had happened in the chaos territory. Tut tut. He destroyed a sect with one palm and defeated the divine god Phantom with one move. Now the void god emperor must be crying in the toilet. The great elder clicked his tongue and sighed. If not for the fact that the patriarch was not here, he would have shouted the 8 true words. After hearing the great elder's words, Luo Wuqing's lips curved into a smile. Her somewhat cold aura weakened a lot, and a touch of gentleness flashed across her eyes. Ning Tian's face appeared in her mind. That guy. Sure enough, no matter where he goes, it won't be peaceful. She shook her head slightly, but there was a trace of a smile on her lips. Seeing this, the great elder widened his eyes. This was the first time the empress's mood had changed since the patriarch left for nearly half a year. Sure enough, only the strongest man in the heavenly spirit region could make the empress change a little bit. So, that's the good news. Then, what's the bad news? Luo Wuqing raised his eyes and looked over, his expression returning to its previous indifference. The bad news. Hearing this, the great elder frowned and became serious. He said in a deep voice, Yesterday, the patriarch of the divine nation, the heavenly treasure sacred lord, and the other leaders of forces said that many auras have appeared in the heavenly spirit region recently. Moreover, these auras are very powerful. Some of them are so powerful that even they are a little afraid of them. Many auras have appeared in the heavenly spirit region? Hearing this, Luo Wuqing frowned slightly, and a trace of seriousness flashed across her beautiful eyes. These auras are all from outside the region? Did you find out where they came from? Chapter 403. This. The Supreme Elder shook his head with a solemn look. Not yet. I just got the news, so I came to ask the Empress. Without the Empress's order, we don't dare to act on our own. The main hall fell into silence. Luo Wuqing pondered for a while and frowned. She looked at the Supreme Elder coldly and said, Supreme Elder, you take the experts to find out where they came from. What if they have evil intentions? The Supreme Elder narrowed his eyes. Kill them. Luo Wuqing's expression didn't change. Yes. A glint flashed across the great Supreme Elder's eyes as he nodded heavily. Then, he bowed to Luo Wuqing and said, Empress, I'll take my leave first. After that, he turned to leave. Wait. Luo Wuqing's voice came from behind. Huh. Empress, do you have anything else to tell me? The Supreme Elder was stunned for a moment and asked doubtfully. Luo Wuqing was silent for a while and said in a calm voice, Tell me immediately if there's any news about that guy. That guy? The Supreme Elder was stunned for a moment. It took him a while to react. He smiled and said, Is it the founder? In my opinion, you're lovesick. Why don't you find some time to play with the founder? After all, the Queen Mother of the West. Before the Supreme Elder could finish his words, he felt a cold gaze land on him. Instantly, his body trembled. A cold voice sounded in his ears. Grand Elder, could it be that you have forgotten your position? Luo Wuqing's emotionless eyes landed on him. The Supreme Elder was stunned for a moment. He smiled awkwardly and scratched his head. I'm just a tool. Empress, don't think too much. Ha ha ha. Then I'll take my leave first. After saying that, the Grand Elder slipped away. In the main hall, only a beautiful figure was left behind. This guy. Husband, long time no see. Actually, I miss him. Luo Wuqing's eyes flashed with a complicated expression as he muttered. Unfortunately, she couldn't go out as she pleased. Under the rule of the Tianma cult, the Sky Spirit realm had become extremely powerful and needed her. If she left just like that, the heavenly spirit realm would fall into chaos. And those people that the Grand Supreme Elder mentioned, I hope they know their place. Otherwise, in the main hall, Luo Wuqing's cold voice slowly descended, without a trace of emotion. The Firmament Territory, Eternal Demon Domain, Heavenly Fox Valley. Miss Su, you look good these days. Heavenly Charm placed a cup of tea in front of Su Yueyao. She teased with a smile on her face. After spending some time together, she had followed Ning Tian's instructions and changed the way she addressed the Queen Mother of the West to Miss Su. Su Yueyao had just picked up her teacup when she heard Heavenly Charm's words. Even she felt a little embarrassed when she thought of the various games she had developed in the past few days. Ning Tian was a genius when it came to cultivation, and he was also a genius when it came to game development. It was especially outrageous. It's okay. She lifted her teacup and took a sip. After her expression returned to normal, she calmly said. After a few days of craziness, her face had indeed glowed a little. Even her figure had become more lofty. Even Su Yueyao found it a little unbelievable. Could it be that doing indescribable things with that guy could bring such benefits? Heavenly Charm looked at the radiant Su Yueyao enviously. Only a woman like her could understand the changes Su Yueyao had undergone in the past few days. It was simply icing on the cake. Unfortunately, in addition to her breakthrough to the demigod realm, it was also because of Ning Tian's nourishment. By the way, where's the ancestral master? Tian Xiang, who was drinking tea, suddenly thought of something and could not help asking in confusion. The fire-sealing Lion King, who had turned into a small beast, was lying on her lap and sleeping. After tearing down the Dragon Valley for 6 days, the fire-sealing Lion King was exhausted. Patriarch? Su Yueyao raised her eyebrows. After drinking the absolute charm tea in one gulp, she shook her head slightly and said, I haven't seen him for several days. The last time I saw him, he was in bed. Bed? Tian Mei and Tian Xiang were stunned for a moment. Nothing. Su Yueyao coughed and shook her head slightly. He said that he had comprehended a Dao attainment, so he went to cultivate. Speaking of this, Su Yueyao sighed. After that guy had done that, he suddenly quivered and said that he had comprehended a Dao attainment and was going to cultivate. Then he stepped into the void and disappeared. This was really outrageous. Cultivating. The two sisters murmured. In 2 days, the Black Earth Death Mountain will open. All the forces in the Firmament Territory have started to prepare for it. Heavenly Charm frowned. She had her own intelligence network, so she knew most of the news. It's about a day's journey from the Black Death Mountain to the Sky Fox Valley, so it's best to leave today. If Patriarch doesn't come out now, I'm afraid we'll miss it. Tian Mei sounded a little worried. Don't worry. He knows what he's doing. Su Yueyao picked up the teapot and poured herself a cup of tea. She looked calm and was not worried at all. Based on her understanding of Ning Tian, although this fellow seemed to be frivolous at times, He was confident in doing things and knew his limits. Since he had decided to head to the Black Soil Death Mountain, he would definitely not delay his cultivation. Well, I hope so, Heavenly Charm said. Boom, boom. At this moment, a loud bang came from the Sky Fox Valley. Instantly, the girl's attention was drawn to it. The flame-sealing Lion King, who was in Tian Xiang's arms, was awakened instantly. It opened its eyes wide and roared, roar, roar. Lion language. Who's tearing down the house? Why didn't you take me with you? What's going on? Tian Mei frowned and was a little nervous. The Sky Fox Valley had just been rebuilt. Nothing could go wrong. This aura, is it my husband? Su Yueyao sensed and her eyes lit up. Patriarch? Patriarch has come out of seclusion? The two girls were surprised. They had not seen their patriarch for almost a month. They missed him. Roar, roar, roar. However, the Lion King was even more excited. It instantly became spirited and struggled free from Tian Xiang's embrace. Then, it rushed out of the hall without any hesitation. I'm going to watch the patriarch demolish the Sky Gate. Seeing this, the other women also followed after him. All the people in the Sky Fox Valley were alarmed and looked toward the direction of the roar. They saw golden light flashed in the sky like a dragon circling. This aura, it's a dragon's aura. Author's words, there's a power outage. My phone was slow to write. I just got the call back. Sorry for being late. Chapter 404. As soon as the dragon power appeared. In the Sky Fox Valley, all the members of the Fox tribe were shocked. The terrifying dragon power shrouded the area. Instantly, they felt a strong pressure pressing down on them. Their spiritual energy stagnated, and they could not move. This is the ancestral master cultivating? All of the clansmen stared at the sky in disbelief at the silhouette of the azure dragon that had appeared. Not far away, on a mountain top, the young man sat cross-legged. Behind him, a spirit sea that was as large as the entire Heavenly Fox Valley appeared. An azure dragon could be faintly seen swimming in the spirit sea. It was domineering, and waves of dragon power were emitted from its body. This dragon power is close to that of the immortal Dragon Emperor. The two guardian elders of the Fox tribe widened their eyes in disbelief. Isn't the ancestral master a human? How can he cultivate dragon power? Su Yueyao and the other girls were also watching. Her beautiful eyes flashed as she looked at the azure dragon in Ning Tian's spirit sea. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly. This was probably the commotion caused by Ning Tian devouring the Dragon Emperor's blood essence. No matter how powerful a drop of the Dragon Emperor's blood essence was, it could not give a person dragon power. Unfortunately, Ning Tian had not been a human for a long time. Boom. Right at this moment, the image of the azure dragon in the sky suddenly shook. The entire Sky Fox Valley shook violently. Roar, roar. Seeing this, the ceiling flame lion roared excitedly. It took out a small notebook and began to write lion-shaped characters to study the word dismantling technique. It's coming, it's coming. I, the Heaven Gate Ancestral Master, am finally going to dismantle. Well, I have to remember it well. Roar, 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 roar. Seeing this scene, Su Yueyao and the others were already used to it. Their gazes were fixed on the mountaintop. As the azure dragon shook, another 100 figures appeared in the spirit sea. That's the 100 demons of the 100 Demon Valley? Seeing this, Tian Xiang was stunned for a moment and said with some surprise, "These are all illusions formed by the blood essence. The ancestral master has mastered the strongest bloodline of the 100 demons." Tian Mei's red lips parted slightly. A trace of shock flashed in her beautiful eyes as she stared blankly at Ning Tian. The ancestral master's cultivation had shocked the sisters for an entire year. He's clearly a human, so how could he condense the blood of 100 demonic beasts into his strongest form? And there's also the shadow of the azure dragon. Could it be that the founder wasn't a human? At this moment, the two guardian elders of the fox race were stumped. They had lived for so long, but they had never seen such a ridiculous thing. Sui Weiyao wasn't surprised to see this. After all, she had personally smeared her blood essence on Ning Tian. Boom! Rumble! The entire heavenly Fox Valley shook violently as the spirit sea raged. In an instant, the ground that had just been filled was torn apart again. Seeing this, Heavenly Charm and the rest felt helpless. On the other hand, the flame-sealing Lion King was extremely excited. Woohoo! Roar! It quickly wrote down the 8 syllables of the art of dismantling. Dismantling a house must be done quickly and in a cool manner. Boom! At this moment, the spiritual sea suddenly shook. Hiss! Look, the Azure Dragon is devouring the 100 demons. The Fox Demon clansmen sucked in a breath of cold air. They suddenly looked at a spot in the sky and shouted. In an instant, everyone's gaze was attracted to that spot. In the spiritual sea, the Azure Dragon's body shook and began to chase after the 100 demons. It was basically eating one demon at a time. Soon, the Azure Dragon's shadow grew larger and was almost 1,000 meters long. The Ancestral Master is feeding the Azure Dragon's shadow with the blood essence of the 100 demons. What a bold move! The 2 guardian elders of the fox race widened their eyes in shock. If the Azure Dragon's shadow was fed with the blood essence of the 100 demons, if the dragon's aura was too strong, it might cause a backlash. Soon, in the spiritual sea, the 100 demons were all devoured. The Azure Dragon's shadow gradually grew larger. Next, the greedy Azure Dragon's shadow swam in the spiritual sea. There was nothing for it to devour, so it set its sights on Ning Tian. The dragon's body shook, and it fiercely swung its tail toward Ning Tian, who was sitting cross-legged. It wanted to backlash. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the fox race changed drastically. The 2 guardian elders wanted to help Ning Tian stop the Azure Dragon's shadow, but they were stopped by Sui Weiyao. You don't have to interfere. Miss Su, that's the Azure Dragon's shadow that devoured the 100 demons. The 2 guardian elders were a little worried. It's okay, trust him. He's my husband. Sui Weiyao shook her head slightly, and a confident smile appeared on her lips. Her gaze was always on Ning Tian. Ning Tian dared to feed the Azure Dragon with the 100 demons because he had his own reasons. He had absolute confidence in Ning Tian. Boom! The dragon's aura shook violently, and the Azure Dragon's shadow swooped down at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, it was only a few dozen meters away. Compared to the body that was close to 1,000 meters long, Ning Tian seemed so small. Roar! There was a dragon's roar. The Azure Dragon's shadow opened its bloody mouth and a red light flashed in its eyes. At this moment, the Divine Thunder Dao revolved around Ning Tian and turned into thousands of Divine Thunder. Although the Divine Thunder had the body of a dragon, it did not have the soul of a dragon. However, their target was the Azure Dragon's shadow. In an instant, thousands of Divine Thunder rushed toward it. The Azure Dragon's shadow did not even have time to escape before it was devoured by the thousands of Divine Thunder. After devouring the Azure Dragon's shadow, the Divine Thunder Dao transformed into a Divine Thunder Dragon that instantly possessed the aura of a dragon. Boom! In an instant, a huge aura shocked the surroundings. The heavenly Fox Valley was devastated again. However, none of the clan members cared. Instead, they stared intently at the sky. This is Divine Thunder Dao? Hiss! Seeing the mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind, the fox tribe was shocked. The ancestral master's methods were endless. On the cliff, although Ning Tian's eyes were closed, a smile appeared on his face. After feeding the Azure Dragon's shadow and then devouring it with thousands of Divine Thunder Dao, it not only possessed the body of a dragon, but also possessed the true aura of a dragon. Now, the Divine Thunder Dao's attack had the addition of the Dragon Soul Shock. Under the dual pressure of the Divine Thunder and Dragon aura, the attack was enough to shock the soul. Congratulations, host, for your breakthrough. Currently, 5 stars Divine Emperor Realm. After circulating her bloodline superpower and absorbing the Dragon Soul's power, Ning Tian's strength increased once again. Close to 1 star per month. This speed is still not fast enough. He muttered and then opened his eyes. In front of him was a ruin. That guy Sha Tian. Did he practice the word dismantling technique again? However, the power this time seems to be quite good. Ning Tian got up, touched his chin, and muttered to himself. Hearing this, the faces of the Fox tribe members around him darkened and fell silent. Who dismantled it? Don't you have any idea? However, this time, I absorbed the Dragon Emperor's blood essence quite well. 1 drop of blood essence can allow me to reach this level of dragon aura. Unfortunately, it will take at least half a year to reach the level of dragon aura of Old Dragon. At this time, there was another murmur from the cliff. In an instant, the people below were petrified. Chapter 405. Half a year? Half a year to reach the level of the immortal Dragon Emperor? What the hell? Ancestral Master, please be a human. If the immortal Dragon Emperor knew that Ning Tian could reach his level in half a year after absorbing a drop of his Dragon Emperor blood essence, the immortal Dragon Emperor would vomit blood. After all, it took him thousands or even tens of thousands of years to reach his current level of dragon power. Ning Tian, on the other hand, half a year to reach that level? What? Look, is this something a human would say? Sigh. On the cliff, a sigh could be heard. I'm still too useless. I didn't work hard enough. Ning Tian shook his head slightly. As soon as he said that, everyone from the Fox Demon clan widened their eyes and lost the light in their eyes. They suddenly felt that the man in front of them was not human at all. If they overestimated themselves and compared themselves to him, they might not even be considered trash. I'm sorry. I feel that it's a mistake for me to be alive. Is my existence affecting the Ancestral Master's cultivation? F***CK. I was born a fox. I'm very sorry. I'm going to die now. Remember to call me when you're done eating. Below. As soon as he said that, everyone in the Fox Demon clan lost their light and their dreams. As if, in front of the Ancestral Master, they were not even salted fish. If hard work was useful, what was the use of being a genius? Ancestral Master, you're very strong. The 2 guardian elders of the Fox Demon clan who had lived for thousands of years could not sit still. Their old faces flushed as they looked at Ning Tian. No, I'm not strong. Ning Tian shook his head slightly and stretched. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. I've always believed in that sentence. Therefore, I don't think I'm very strong, nor do I think I'm a genius. The Fox Demon clan was silent. After a while, they reacted. What sentence? Everyone's eyes fell on Ning Tian. Ning Tian's lips curled into a bright smile. That is, if you can't reach the sky in 1 step, how dare you call yourself a genius? Hiss. The surrounding Fox Demon clan members gasped. Their eyes were filled with shock. Was this the Patriarch's creed? You have shocked heavenly charms. You've shocked Tianxiang. You've shocked the 2 White Fox clan guardian elders. You shocked everyone in the Fox clan. Reward, 100,000 attack power increase card. Attack 100,000 attack power amplification card. One-time use. Can amplify all attacks. Literally, the power is astonishing. The system's products must be the best of the best. It will shock the host for an entire year. Hearing the voice in his mind, Ning Tian was stunned for a moment. Where did the system learn to say such words? However, this attack power amplification card seemed to be pretty good. It could be considered as a great killing weapon in the Black Death Mountain. Who? He stepped into the void and appeared next to the girls. How long until the Black Earth Death Mountain opens? One day, it's best to leave now, Suiyao said softly. So fast? Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly and said slowly, It seems that I came out of seclusion just in time. All right, calculating the distance, it's best to set off now. Ancestor, young lady Su has been asking me to inquire about the Black Earth Death Mountain. On the side, Tian Mei said as she took out some collected information from her storage ring. Ancestor, you can take a look. After saying that, she handed it to Ning Tian. Ning Tian took it and looked at it carefully. She frowned. The Demon Clan, and the Human Clan, the three major clans of the Tianxian land, are all eyeing this death bell. Suddenly, Ning Tian saw a familiar face. Void God Heavenly Palace? They also came to the Black Earth Death Mountain? Ning Tian's expression was a bit strange. Did this Void God Heavenly Emperor really have the confidence to come to the Black Earth Death Mountain? His own backyard was on fire, and he still came to join in the fun? Even the old ancestors in the divine realm were taught a lesson by the 10,000 Sword God. It seems that the Void God Heavenly Palace wants to use the death bell to fight. On the side, Su Yueyao said softly, from the information, the Void God Heavenly Emperor seems to want to go all out. Go all out? I think so. The corner of Ning Tian's mouth lifted, revealing a meaningful smile. Instantly, the two guardian elders of the Fox clan trembled. Wasn't it good for the Void God Heavenly Emperor to stay at home? Why did he have to go all out? Great, most likely, he didn't want to go all out, but only wanted to die. All right, it's about time. Many forces have come, but it won't stop me from getting the death bell. Ning Tian put away the scroll and handed it to Tian Mei with a calm face. The death bell was destined to be with him, so this thing should be given to him. Let's go. Tian Mei, Old Two, and the two elders of the Fox clan will come with me. Ning Tian said indifferently. This time, he wasn't alone. There were also many peak experts. Although Tian Mei was weak, she could be used for analysis. As for Old Two and the other two old men, they were just tools. Yes, Ancestral Master. Tian Mei and the others nodded slightly. At the same time, they were a little nervous. After all, it was one of the few life-forbidden zones, the Black Earth Death Mountain. Even if they were accompanied by the Ancestral Master, they were still a little afraid. It's about time. Let's go, Ning Tian said casually. With a gentle wave of his hand, the storage ring flickered and a huge void ship appeared in front of everyone. Tian Mei instructed Tian Xiang to rebuild the Heavenly Fox Valley in the next few days. Then, she led the others onto the void ship. As for the Sealing Flame Lion King, it was still writing something. Ning Tian glanced at it, and his face turned black. He shook his head silently. That was the truth of demolishing words. You have to be fast when you demolish a house. If you don't demolish a house today, your position will be unstable tomorrow. We have to demolish a house brazenly and make everyone homeless. Shatian, this guy, I really don't know who he learned this from. Ning Tian sighed. He didn't know which unscrupulous bastard had taught a cute little lion to become a husky. Sigh, this was the fall of human nature. Let's go, Shatian. Study the demolishing words technique on the void ship, Ning Tian said indifferently. Woohoo! The Sealing Flame Lion King roared. Then, it put away the little book and ran toward the void ship. Seeing this, Ning Tian shook his head helplessly. This guy couldn't be a husky ancestor, right? Also, after experiencing the one-stop service, this guy seemed to have started to learn to roar like a dragon. How strange. Ning Tian shook his head slightly. Then, he looked at Su Yueyao and said softly, Yueyao, let's go. Get ready to go. Okay. Su Yueyao nodded obediently. Soon, the void ship was activated and slowly left under the gaze of all the people in the Heavenly Fox Valley. Tian Xiang watched them leave. Then, she turned around. Looking at the messy Heavenly Fox Valley, she shook her head helplessly. Chapter 406. In the sky, the void ship was moving at full speed towards the direction of the Black Death Mountain. With the help of the two Fox Tribe Guardian Elders, Su Yueyao did not need to personally control the spiritual energy supply. After all, there were two real tools here. The two of them took turns and were not slow at all. By the way, Ancestral Master, while the void ship was moving towards the Black Death Mountain, Heavenly Charms was also flipping through ancient books as she said, there seems to be news of an ancient miracle in the Black Death Mountain. However, this news has been around for thousands of years. Whether it's true or not, it has yet to be confirmed. Ancient miracle? Hearing this, Ning Tian raised his eyebrows. Anything that was related to the word miracle was generally good stuff. He nodded slightly. Be careful when the time comes. Everyone nodded. They were looking forward to this trip. After all, that was a forbidden zone for life. Even if the Black Death Mountain was one of the less dangerous forbidden zones, it was enough to make them wary. Even if a great emperor expert entered the forbidden zone, they could be swallowed if they were not careful. Roar, roar. As for the ignorant little lion, it was already fantasizing about tearing down the forbidden zone. In the blink of an eye, a day and night had passed. Under the two fox tribe elders' control, the Nine Tribulations' great emperor's power continued to erupt. Finally, everyone saw the Black Death Mountain. It was obviously dark in front of them. Even during the day, the sun's radiance could not shine into the darkness. The Black Death Mountain seemed to have lost its color. All light was reduced to darkness forever. Ancestral Master, the Black Death Mountain is in front of us. Heavenly Charms looked over and quietly circulated her spiritual energy to block the oncoming death aura. The death aura in the Black Death Mountain was the most terrifying. If one was not careful, they could be corroded by the death aura. The death aura was an existence that could devour spiritual energy. There was no spiritual energy supply in the Black Death Mountain. One could only rely on their own spiritual energy. Once the death aura entered the body and devoured spiritual energy, there was only one outcome to walking in the Black Death Mountain without spiritual energy: death. Ning Tian raised his eyes and looked at the darkness not far away. A demonic bird flew in, and in less than a second, its body turned pitch black in an instant. It fell to the ground and crashed heavily. Its body turned into a pile of ashes and scattered with the wind. That is, seeing this scene, Ning Tian's pupil shrank slightly, and his expression couldn't help but become somewhat solemn. That's death chi. As Sui Weiyao spoke, she waved her jade-like hand, and a huge amount of spiritual energy mixed with demonic energy shrouded the entire void ship. After doing all this, she explained to Ning Tian about the death energy in the Black Death Mountain. Black Earth Death Mountain. The ground was covered in black ash. There were no corpses. Because corpses would be corroded by the death aura, and ordinary people would be corroded by the death aura in less than a second, turning into black ash. There's no spiritual chi in the Forbidden Zone? After listening to Su Yueyao's words, Ning Tian raised his eyebrows slightly. However, he wasn't worried. What he didn't lack the most was spiritual chi. The existence of several spiritual seas in his dantian was enough for him to use spiritual chi for several months in the Black Earth Death Mountain. After we enter the Black Earth Death Mountain, follow me closely. Don't get separated. Just in case, Ning Tian still gave some instructions to the people behind her. Yes, everyone nodded solemnly. Dong. At this moment, there seemed to be a rumbling sound coming from not far away. Honey, listen. It sounds like a bell. Sui Weiyao frowned slightly and said in a low voice, A bell? Old Tu and the others' expressions changed slightly. A hint of caution flashed in their eyes. Could it be the semi-divine artifact, the death bell? Ning Tian remained silent, silently listening to the sound of the bell. Dong dong. The sound of the bell spread far and wide. Every time it rang and fell, it seemed to have its own rhythm. According to Ning Tian's observation, with the sound of the bell, the death aura coming from the Black Earth Death Mountain became denser. The sound of the bell lasted for a full 10 minutes before it finally stopped. This is bad. Ning Tian frowned and murmured softly, Honey, what's wrong? Sui Weiyao frowned slightly and looked at Ning Tian with some confusion. Beside her, Tian Mei and the others also looked at him in confusion. Try to sense the death aura around us. Ning Tian frowned and did not explain. Instead, he instructed everyone. Hearing this, on the void ship, everyone circulated their spiritual energy and sensed the death aura. A few minutes later, everyone withdrew their spiritual energy and their expressions were a little gloomy. They could vaguely feel the death aura around them. One should know that they had not entered the Black Earth Death Mountain yet. And this was only the periphery of the Black Earth Death Mountain. There was still a distance of nearly 10,000 meters from the Black Earth Death Mountain. If they were in the Black Earth Death Mountain, how terrifying would the death aura be? This is not right. I have passed by the Black Earth Death Mountain before, but I have never seen such a dense death aura. Old Master Heavenly Fox frowned, and Old Master Heavenly Fox nodded in agreement. The two guardian elders of the Fox clan had passed by the Black Earth Death Mountain before, but the death aura at that time was not as dense as this. Honey, could it be because of the death bell? Su Yueyao's beautiful eyes flashed with a hint of seriousness as she looked at Ning Tian. Yes. Ning Tian nodded slightly. The death bell's characteristic that Su Yueyao mentioned was the law of death attached to the death bell. According to his speculation, the death aura should be related to the law of death. Every time the bell rang, the death aura would become denser. The death aura in the Black Earth Death Mountain was probably much denser than before. The danger level of this forbidden zone was probably much higher than before. But Su Yueyao frowned slightly. Could it be that someone is ringing the death bell? Could it be that the death bell has an artifact spirit? Artifact spirit. Ning Tian's eyes flashed with a hint of seriousness. He knew about the artifact spirit. After all, the pagoda demon pagoda lying in his storage ring had an artifact spirit. However, the pagoda demon pagoda was definitely a divine artifact. It was normal for it to have an artifact spirit. However, this death bell was only a semi-divine artifact. It was a bit too far-fetched for it to have an artifact spirit. Forget it. Everything will be revealed when we enter the Black Earth Death Mountain. Ning Tian shook his head slightly. Then, he instructed the two guardian elders of the Fox clan. Old Fox, there's no need to enter the Black Earth Death Mountain. The mountain hasn't opened yet. Let's stay outside for a while. Yes, Ancestral Master. The two nodded and controlled the void ship to head downwards. The dense death aura in the Black Earth Death Mountain formed a barrier. The time wasn't ripe yet. There were already many forces in the forest around the Black Earth Death Mountain. They were either preparing to enter or waiting for a good show. However, there were also some who wanted to make a fortune. The void ship landed on the side. Everyone jumped down. Ning Tian kept the void ship and walked towards the forest. Take a look, take a look. Come and place your bet. Who will the death bell belong to? Come and have a look. Fellow Taoists, come and place your bets. My windfall pavilion is an honest business. The odds are high. Soon, the surrounding voices attracted everyone's attention. Author's words, the river may be empty. However, I will update 3 chapters every day. There won't be any less. Even if there's a blackout, I will still update 3 chapters. It's just a bit slower, Sai. Chapter 407. Fellow Taoists, please stop. Deep in the forest, a platform made of ancient wood stood. A middle-aged man who looked like a profiteer was shouting. Behind him was a wooden sign with some words on it. Many cultivators gathered around the wooden platform. Fellow Taoists, please take a look. Who will the death bell belong to? The Windfall Pavilion welcomes all fellow Taoists to place your bets. Place your bets, and you may reach the peak of your life. Haha. Of course, I recommend that you place your bets on the popular factions. For example, the Limitless Divine Dynasty, Void God Heavenly Palace, Falling Flower Sect, Eternal Demon Domains, Immortal Dragon Tribe, Heavenly Thunder Bear Tribe, Endless Demon Abyss Crimson Blood Demon Tribe, Drought Demon Tribe, etc. The middle-aged man stroked his mustache and smiled at the group of cultivators. As long as you dare to place your bets, the Windfall Pavilion will pay you back. It's better to act than to be tempted. Fellow Taoists, please hurry up. Once the Black Earth Death Mountain opens, you won't have this chance anymore. The moment he said that, many cultivators were tempted. Although the Windfall Pavilion wasn't considered a top faction in the Chaos Domain, it still had a reputation. At the very least, it had integrity. It was worth a try. Soon, many people placed their bets. This is interesting. Not far away, Ning Tian and the others looked at this scene. He stroked his chin and seemed to be thinking about something. Hee hubby, why don't we place our bets too? Su Weiyao looked at Ning Tian and giggled. I think so. Ning Tian stroked his chin and nodded. Hearing this, Heavenly Charms, Old Two, and the others observed 3 seconds of silence for the Windfall Pavilion. Now that they were targeted by this couple, the Windfall Pavilion would probably experience what it meant to go bankrupt. The group walked over. The steward of the Windfall Pavilion was still shouting, "I'll place my bets." At this moment, a voice with a smile sounded. Everyone looked over subconsciously, but they couldn't see the group clearly. After all, Ning Tian and the others were all great emperors except for Ning Tian and Heavenly Charms. It was too easy to not let this group of people see their background. Hiss, could this be that great power? Seeing this scene, many of the surrounding cultivators had solemn expressions. The manager of the Windfall Pavilion frowned, but soon relaxed. Looking at this group of people acting so mysteriously, they should be a big financial backer. Who knows, he might be able to make a huge profit out of them. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth lifted slightly, and he looked at Ning Tian with a smile. But just as he was about to speak, he froze. Although he couldn't see Ning Tian's face clearly, he could still see Ning Tian's smiling face. This smile, why did it feel like his smile was even more despicable than his own? Who was the profiteer? He was stunned for a moment. He rubbed his eyes and looked over again, but this time, he couldn't see Ning Tian smiling at all. Suddenly, he frowned. Was he hallucinating? What the hell? Then, the steward smiled and looked at Ning Tian. "Fellow Taoist, who do you want to bet on? Tell me the rules." Ning Tian wasn't in a hurry to place his bet. "It's like this." The steward used an extremely fast tone to explain the rules of betting. There was no limit to the amount of money to bet. If the person you bet on obtains the death bell, after deducting the handling fee of the Windfall Pavilion, you can get 10 times the reward of your bet. In other words, the more you bet, the more spirit coins you will get. Oh, 10 times the reward. Ning Tian mumbled to herself. She narrowed her eyes and looked at the middle-aged man again. What if I'm the only one who's betting on me? Then all the spirit coins will belong to me? 10 times the reward? If the ancestor only wanted 10 times the reward, that wouldn't be the ancestor's style. That's right. The steward of the Windfall Pavilion nodded with a smile and narrowed his eyes. According to the rules, that is indeed the case. However, I still suggest that you follow the crowd because only then can you earn spirit coins. Any normal person would choose to bet on the popular forces, because those unknown small forces entered the Black Earth Dead Mountain. Not to mention obtaining the death bell. Whether they could come out alive was a problem. They were willing to bet, but they weren't willing to give it for free. I see. Ning Tian was deep in thought. If the steward of the Windfall Pavilion could see through the fog, he would definitely be able to see Ning Tian smile under the fog. When the ancestor smiled, others usually didn't have a good ending. Fellow Taoist, have you thought it through? The steward of the Windfall Pavilion looked at Ning Tian and asked. Yes. Ning Tian nodded slightly, then pointed at himself. I bet we win. Huh. The steward of the Windfall Pavilion was stunned for a moment. The surrounding cultivators also looked at Ning Tian and the others with strange expressions. Are these guys crazy? Not the popular forces, but themselves? For free? Or could it be that they were also a hidden force? Fellow Taoist, you bet on yourself? The steward of the Windfall Pavilion frowned slightly, but out of professional courtesy, he still confirmed it very seriously. That's right. Ning Tian's answer was straightforward. The steward of the Windfall Pavilion was silent for a moment, then nodded. All right, I wonder which force this fellow Taoist is from? As soon as these words came out, many gazes from the surroundings instantly looked over, all wanting to find out what was going on. Hearing the words of the Windfall Pavilion steward, Ning Tian pondered for a moment. Just as he was about to speak, the flame-sealing Lion King beside him howled twice. Roar. Use Master Lion's name. The name that Master Lion thought of was absolutely domineering. Ning Tian was silent for a moment, glanced at the flame-sealing Lion King, then looked at the Windfall Pavilion steward and said, Let's tear down the gate of heaven. Tear down the gate of heaven? Many of the surrounding cultivators were stunned for a moment. They had never heard of tearing down the gate of heaven. The steward of the Windfall Pavilion was also silent. He had never heard of this force before. Tearing down the gate of heaven. It was really strange. All right, then how much should we bet on tearing down the gate of heaven? As the Windfall Pavilion's steward spoke, he turned around and wrote on the wooden board behind him. On it were the names of the major forces and the amount of bets they had placed. From afar, it was close to 10 billion spirit coins. Since it's my own sect, I naturally have to spend a lot of money. Ning Tian pondered for a moment, then said in a tone that seemed to be going all out, Are we going to make a fortune? Hearing this, the Windfall Pavilion's steward's heart suddenly trembled, and he was instantly ecstatic. A bright smile appeared on his face, and he turned to look at Ning Tianha. Presumably, tearing down the gate of heaven can be said to be rich and overbearing. I think the name of tearing down the gate of heaven will definitely be. However, before he could finish his words, Ning Tian's voice sounded, 1 spirit coin. What? The smile on the Windfall Pavilion's steward's face froze for a moment, and the corner of his mouth twitched. I said, 1 spirit coin. The Windfall Pavilion's steward was stunned for a moment, and soon his face revealed a Sima face. Chapter 408. 1 spirit coin? F*CK. King call spending 1 spirit coin bleeding? Is it because you're too poor, or because you're too shameless? F*CK. I beg you to be a human. Fellow Taoist, you're serious about this spirit coin? The steward of the Windfall Pavilion forced out a stiff smile as he looked at Ning Tian. I'm serious. Ning Tian nodded with a smile. Could it be that the Windfall Pavilion wants to question the rules you set? Of course not. The steward was stunned for a moment and quickly shook his head. If he questioned it, wouldn't he be taking down his own signboard and smashing his own feet? Then that's it. Ning Tian spread his hands and took out a spirit coin from his storage ring. He placed it in the Sudden Wealth Pavilion's manager's hand and patted the manager's shoulder earnestly. Manager, you must take good care of this spirit coin. If I win by tearing down the heavenly gate, I'll have the funds to build a sect. The surroundings were silent. F*CK. He dared to come to the Black Death Mountain before the sect was built. He even wanted to use 1 spirit coin to earn the funds to build a sect? You must be daydreaming, right? Okay. A few black lines appeared on the Windfall Pavilion's steward's forehead. This word was almost squeezed out from his mouth. He thought he could make a lot of money, but he didn't expect it would only be 1 spirit coin. This spirit coin cost him so much saliva. What a loss. It was definitely a loss. Seeing this scene, Tian Mei, Old 2, and the others couldn't help but laugh. This Windfall Pavilion's steward probably didn't know that this should be the beginning of their Windfall Pavilion's nightmare. Let's set a small goal first. Using 1 spirit coin to earn tens of billions of spirit coins. This was very ancestral. Around them, seeing this scene, many cultivators muttered to themselves as if they were thinking of something. Okay, husband, let's go. At this moment, Su Yueyao suddenly said, if we don't leave now, the concealing fog on our faces will disappear. Let's go now. Concealing fog? The surrounding cultivators were stunned. Oh, that's true. Ning Tian pretended to be suddenly enlightened and prepared to leave with the group of people. Before leaving, he didn't forget to say to the manager of the Sudden Wealth Pavilion, Brother Manager, wait for me to come back and collect the money. After saying that, the group hurriedly left. Face concealing fog? F*CK. I thought you were an expert, but it turns out that you used the lowest level of concealing fog to hide your identity. How unlucky, wasting my time. The manager of the Windfall Pavilion reacted and instantly cursed. Many of the surrounding cultivators didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had thought that those who couldn't see their faces were all experts, but it turned out that they were just using the lowest level of concealment technique. Some cultivators also quietly dispelled the plans in their hearts. In the depths of the forest, many cultivators were already waiting here. This place was even more lively than the outside. Let's walk around and take a look. It's an essential elixir to enter the Black Earth Death Mountain. Eating one will definitely allow one to ignore the terrifying death aura. Its price is only 10 million spirit coins. It's very cheap. The most important thing is that there are no bad reviews. Many voices sounded in the surroundings. Ning Tian and the others arrived at this place. Ancestral Master, why did you leave in a hurry just now? Also, what's the face-concealing fog? We clearly didn't use the face-concealing fog. The fog on their faces dissipated. Elder Tu looked at Ning Tian with some confusion and asked, Haha. Ning Tian smiled and looked at Su Yueyao. He said with a smile, it's very simple. If we make ourselves too strong, what if others follow us? Only then can we dispel their thoughts. Only then can I use 1 spirit coin to earn 10 billion spirit coins. Ning Tian said with a smile. Hearing this, the corners of Elder Tu and the 2 Fox Clan Guardian Elders' mouths twitched, who said that the older the ginger, the spicier it was. This could be seen from the Ancestral Master. Not only was the Ancestral Master spicy, but he was also vicious. If the manager of the Windfall Pavilion knew the truth, he would probably cry himself to death. Who would dare to go against the Ancestral Master? He probably wouldn't even know how he died. Ancestral Master, what should we do now? At the side, Tian Mei looked around and couldn't help but ask. I'm not doing anything. Ning Tian shook his head slightly. When we came here, I already checked the surroundings. We can't enter now. If we take the risk to enter, we'll only be devoured by the death chi. This is a risk we can't take. Let's wait. When the Black Death Mountain opens and the barrier disappears, we'll be able to enter. Hearing this, the others nodded. A few hours later, the Black Death Mountain was filled with black fog. It seemed to have become darker, but the barrier seemed to have dissipated by a lot. Boom. At this moment, there seemed to be an aura approaching. Those major forces were finally willing to show themselves when the barrier was about to dissipate. Boom. In the sky, a cloud of black fog descended and landed heavily outside the Black Death Mountain. A monstrous demonic chi instantly appeared in the surroundings. Bursts of demonic chi were ear-piercing, causing many human cultivators' expressions to change. It's the demonic tribe. This time, the demonic tribe of the Endless Demonic Abyss, the Crimson Blood Demonic Tribe, and the Drought Demon Tribe are here. Many people exclaimed in surprise. When the demonic chi surged out, not far away, Ning Tian clearly sensed a strong commotion from the Buddha Demon Pagoda lying quietly in his storage ring. It seemed to desire the demonic tribe. It wanted to suppress the demonic tribe. For so long, the Buddha Demon Pagoda had not shown any signs of activity. Today, when it faced the demonic tribe again, it finally reacted. Could it be that only demonic blood can feed the demonic pagoda? Ning Tian frowned. His malicious gaze fell on the cloud of black fog not far away. The demonic tribe was hiding in the black fog and did not expose themselves. This was somewhat similar to their usual style. Husband. At this moment, Su Yueyao looked at Ning Tian and transmitted her voice with spiritual chi. Her voice was somewhat solemn. Is the Drought Demon Tribe the same clan as the demon god we encountered in the void? Demon God Chi Yin. Hearing this, Ning Tian was silent for a moment. Then he slowly said, I didn't expect his clan to be from the Endless Demonic Abyss in the Firmament territory. But it doesn't matter. As long as the demon god doesn't come in person, we don't have to fear the Drought Demon Tribe. Yes. Su Yueyao nodded slightly and raised her chin slightly. With her current strength, she was confident that she could protect Ning Tian without any worries. Soon, not only the demonic tribe, but also many demonic tribes from the eternal demon realm. There were many powerful forces among them, and one of them was an old acquaintance of Ning Tian's, the immortal Dragon Emperor. Ning Tian hadn't expected the old dragon to come and join in on the fun even after moving overnight. Ning Tian suddenly had an idea. Could she take advantage of the immortal dragons? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.